Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We are so glad to have you all here as we have EJ Thornton and John Craig. They are here to talk about UFOs, contact, and the scientific side of the experience. It's coming up momentarily, but first we need to say hello to each and every one of you as we have Tim Mothman and his goatee holding the gold medal position tonight. Race fan with a silver, T-Bone taking home the bronze medal tonight. Amy Allo, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you. And Kitty Cattywhack, good to have you here. Mel WD-40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because you can't talk UFOs without being lubed up. So thank you, Mel, for doing that. Give yourself a little shot as well. Oh, is it little Timmy Mothman's birthday today? Well, happy birthday to you in the goatee. Happy birthday to you in the goatee. Happy birthday, Tim Mothman and his goatee. Happy birthday to you. Thunderhead, how you doing, my friend? Nice to see you as we continue on with our roll call. Robert Lamoth and JSCO, thanks for coming on in. Road Flair and Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, nice to have you both. Carol Amario, nice to see you. Luscious Jules, good to have you here. Werewolf is here. Werewolf will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. We scroll on down. Up next, we have Mama Catherine. There she is. I had a great talk with Charlie earlier tonight, Mama Catherine. It was a great talk. Love you, my dear. I hope you have a great night listening in. It's going to be a good show, I promise you. Necessary Dialogue, nice to see you. And who else do we have here? Let's scroll on down and say hello to, well, we're going to keep scrolling here. Jennifer Beveridge, nice to have you here. Jaquetta, good to see you. And Forrest Louie, thank you for coming on in. We scroll on down on our YouTube side and say hello next to, well, there's a long conversation going on here, so it might take a while. Kurt M., nice to see you. And who is next? Who is next on our list here? Well, it's Thomas Rock. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Walter Kochabinski, always a pleasure to have you here. And who is next here? Well, there's Thunderhead and Carol. United We Stand. Nice to see you. Jay Truth is here. Jay will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. D. Henderson, nice to see you. Millennium, my man. Always a pleasure. Integrationing, thanks for coming on in. Hi there, Panda on Fire. Al Garay over on Twitch just did 2,500 unidentified flying leg lifts. He is warmed up for tonight. Way to work out tonight, Al Garay. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Aussie Boss Tiger, nice to see you. Pam Harris, love to have you here. Thank you for coming on in as we continue on with our roll call. Oh, good. Tim Mothman and his goatee are here. So he heard us sing happy birthday. East Coast Turnaround on X. Nice to see you. T-Bone, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Mr. Bone, really appreciate and love you, my friend. Thank you very, very much. Dr. Bob, nice to see you for tonight as we continue on with our roll call and Operation Shutdown. Good to see you. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We have John Craig. We have EJ Thornton. We're talking UFOs for the next couple of hours. It's going to be a great show. On our YouTube side, we are in roll call right now as we say good morning to Skip to Malou in Denmark, as well as we say hello next to Top Cat Alley. Welcome to SOR Chat. Scrolling on down as we're running out of time here. Eric Cooper on Facebook. It's little Eric Cooper and his dog Spot. There he is. Hey, Coop, how's the beard? Give me an update if you don't mind. Scrolling on down, Erica Stover, nice to see you. And the rest of you will have to wait for me to say hello in the chat room. Hey, do me a favor. Shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. There's no ugly swag. Throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. Get your tickets for Caribou Con at cariboucon.com, September 18th through 20th in the Caribou region of British Columbia. We have an amazing show for you tonight because we are getting into UFOs with researchers EJ Thornton and John Craig. We'll get to them momentarily. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another spooky story. We're going to follow that up with Robin Haynes being in for the Q&A, so make sure you get ready for that as well. So let's get right to it. We got a fun show about UFOs tonight. John Craig is a scientist, engineer, inventor, and author who approaches the UFO phenomena with both the skepticism of a trained researcher and the curiosity of a lifelong experiencer. Having witnessed anomalous activity since childhood, John has dedicated his technical expertise in programming, electronics, and data analysis to developing tools that can measure and track unexplained aerial phenomena. He is also the mastermind behind UFO-Track, real-time alert system, and the inventor of the innovative devices such as the UFO-Sense detection unit and the UFO-CQ CE5 communication device, designed to help researchers detect, analyze, and potentially communicate with unidentified flying objects. Working alongside him is EJ Craig. She's a mathematician, publisher, and co-founder of the UFO-Track project. The daughter of an aerospace engineer, EJ grew up fascinated by the cosmos and brings rigorous analytical precision to the study of UFOs and anomalous events. She focuses on identifying patterns with observational data and transforming raw reports into actionable real-time alerts for the UFO-Track community. Together, John and EJ represent a new scientific and data-driven approach to modern UFO research. EJ is also an experiencer of the paranormal phenomena herself, reporting encounters involving angels, ghosts, and other unexplained experiences that further shape the couple's unique perspective on the mysteries of the universe. I'm excited about this. And I'll be honest with you, I don't feel worthy interviewing these guys because literally they are so much smarter than me. John and EJ, welcome to Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
We're awesome. We're awesome. How are you?
Thanks, Dave. Good to be here.
Well, you know what? I'm going to try and act all scientific-y and try and make myself look smarter than what I am because I'm just a broadcast journalist. So don't hold it against me if you don't mind.
No worries.
Not a problem.
EJ, this entire realm of your life started a long time ago, as it did for a lot of us. I mean, did you ever think that, looking back on your life, that this would be the phenomena or the skill set that you have derived for yourself and made a life of?
No, like I said, as a daughter of an engineer, there's nothing more nuts and bolts than being the daughter of an engineer. But there were ghosts in the houses that I grew up in, and I was taken care of by angels so much in my young adult life. My son is my pregnancy with my son was just stunning, full of angels. And I wrote a book about that called Angel on Board. And it was based on a true story. And then everybody wanted to know the true stories. And the true stories ended up being more fantastic than even the book. So between ghosts and angels, and then John came into my life and UFOs took over. So the paranormal, we let everything, well, not everything come in, but we let everything good come in. So we do qualify it that it's good, and the angels have been wonderful, and so far the UFO contacts have been very peaceful. So there we go.
So do we blame John then, EJ, for the UFOs and aliens? Is that his fault?
Yeah.
John, what are you holding
Absolutely.
this here?
I've had experiences both in the paranormal, and my first wife actually saved my life after she passed away. That's a whole long story, but I've been interested in UFOs ever since high school, maybe even before that. My whole family saw something when I was very young. And there's just 84 years, I think it is now, of not getting to the truth from the government or authority figures anywhere. So it's time to do something about it. And that's what we're out to do. We've had enough experiences to know that there's something real going on here. So we're out to do a citizen science kind of experiment to get. I think it's great.
I really think it's great what you two are doing, because you're both being proactive in a field that you love. You're not trying to hurt anybody. You're not trying to influence anybody. You're doing it to try and figure out if you could find the science behind everything. And John, how has that worked for you so far? And how do you even start to learn about how to create a science and technology about UFOs, which for most people on this planet, they don't even think exists?
Well, I've been in and out of MUFON for quite a few years. And it seems like all the organizations that research UFOs are always getting data after the fact. That something happens, and then in the next few days, an investigator will go collect the information, and then they'll do the investigation. And that's all fine and dandy, but we figured out a way that we can do real-time alerts so people can get the neighborhood, get other people in the membership out to look at this event they're having, and get everybody's got a camera on them anymore in their pocket, in the cell phones. So if we can get multiple witnesses to a single event and multiple camera views of a single event, that's worth a huge amount of credibility and valid scientific analysis data. So that's kind of what we're out for, is the real-time alerts. We'll hand the data over later to investigators to really do the in-depth after-the-fact investigation if they want. But we're out trying to get real-time data, real-time alerts.
I have to ask you, EJ, your opinion on what John just said, because one of the things that I have noticed in how long has it been? I've been in the field since 2011 and public since 2014. So what's that? 15 years, I guess now. A lot of times when people have a UFO sighting, You and I could be standing there in a field in the middle of nowhere. Pick your field wherever, and you see it, I see it, but we're looking at two completely different things. You might see red and orange orbs, and I may see blue and green and red lights. I mean, it's so different, the personal experience about this. How do you define things like that?
Well, that is the problem, is that when two people see what should be the same thing, they don't report it in the same way at all. That's why we need two cameras going at it at the same time, and having an objective recording witness, so that we can actually, couples of them, that we can go back and later analyze. But the more real time we can gather the data, the better it's going to be for the after the fact investigation to actually determine what it was, or what it's not. We can rule out a whole bunch of things, and when you ruled out everything mundane, the only thing left is the fantastic. So what you see and what I see is important, but even if it's the same thing, we should record it two different ways. Everybody's eyes are different, everybody's ears are different, everybody's experience is different, everybody's filter is different. So of course we're going to see it different ways. But if we can get that impartial recorder, the camera, then we can do a lot more research with that. But it's really important to get everybody's take. It's really important to get it in as quick as is possible, because memory fades so quickly. That's why we want to do real-time, rapid response reporting. So you can report the UFO in real time with us. It'll notify the network in real time. People nearby can go out at the same time. Hopefully they'll go out as soon as they get the notice. And hopefully we can start to create multi-witness fantastic events. So, something like the Phoenix Lights, or the scale of the Phoenix Lights, because we've got this grassroots network that is in contact with each other in real time. And then if we see different things, well, that's fine, but we're all taking pictures of it at the same time. And we'll be able to prove where it is in the sky, how fast it was going, things like that, such that we can find out if it's exotic or if it's mundane. Who knows? But when we can all look at the same thing, even if we don't see it quite the same way, and share that experience together, we're all going to be the better for it. I don't know if I answered your question, but
Well, you did, but I want to ask you this, because the one thing that I have learned about the phenomena over the years is that it could be the biggest tease in the world. So, for instance, a lot of people, when they have, EJ, this sighting, they forget about their phone. They're trying to captivate what their brain can't figure out, what their eyes are seeing. And they're like, oh my God, is this real? Is this moment happening? So I got to tell you, a couple of years ago at one of my Bigfoot hotspots, I'm leaning on the front of my buddy's truck and I watch a triangle of stars appear. Okay. So it was a beautiful area. Okay. You got the gravel road from the logging road going this way. And then you have two walls of old growth trees going right in between. And I don't know the distance of it, but there was literally one bright light sitting there, and then the two others appeared to make a triangle. So here's my problem, because I know other people have had this happen as well. I'm like, wow, this is great. Dave, take a picture. Take a picture. Okay. I'm actually going to do my job as a journalist and as somebody in this field, and I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to turn it on. And I start to reach for my phone. I literally start to pull it out of my jeans pocket. And all of a sudden it was like that thing knew. It knew that I was going to take a picture, and the bottom two lights blinked out. And the other one, as soon as I got my phone full in my hand, the other one dipped off and faded away. It knew. I swear, EJ, it knew. It was playing games with me. How am I supposed to get a picture when things like that are happening?
one of the ways is that if you pull out the camera without even looking for it or even being conscious of it, get the practice with it with muscle memory, just hit the power button twice and it goes straight into camera mode. Did you see that? How fast that went into camera mode? That almost without a conscious memory, just pull it out, click that power button twice, and you're in camera mode. Then you have to hit the, the button to take the picture, but it'll happen much, much faster. But whether ET knew that it could do it in that split second, probably if they're going to be playing cat and mouse with that, we're just going to have to rely on our memory. But I did some research on Project Blue Book a couple of years ago, and I took all of the 700 still unexplained sightings, and I got their duration, and then I added it up and divided it by the number, and I found out that the average length of a UFO sighting is about 20 minutes. And in those 20 minutes, I know that sounds like a long time, but according to the government, that was the data. Those UFOs hang around a little bit longer than you would think. So just reach in your pocket, push that power button twice, and aim it and try. All you can do is try. If they play games and they disappear, I can't help it. But for the most part, just try. Get your camera out there, get it recording. And we did the same thing. We listened to what we thought was a Bigfoot for probably 15 minutes. And we didn't realize, or we didn't even think about it, that we had our cameras right there. And even if we couldn't get video, we could have recorded the voice of Bigfoot, because it was just an incredible time. And we just kick ourselves that we did not take advantage of that. We both had it right there. And in the moment, we just...
All right, I'm calling time out there for a second, because if you got a Bigfoot story, there is no way on this show that you're getting away with not telling us that story. It's your fault. We brought it up. It's your fault here.
It's my fault. That's all right. We're camping up in a place near Teal Lake up in the Colorado mountains, and it was the middle of the night. We car camp, and we were in our car, and our little dog was sleeping with us, and suddenly we hear this thing that sounds like a donkey dying, but it was so loud. The sound just carried up and down the valley, but it just sounded like this huge animal in distress, and it brayed like a donkey. And we thought, oh my goodness, some mountain lion's killing a livestock somewhere. But it went on and on and on, and it just got louder and louder. And we thought, this thing's just it's got to die. I mean, it sounds like it's in so much distress. But it didn't. It just cried like that for like 15 minutes. We were awake. The dog was barking. It was louder outside the car than the dog inside the car barking at it. And all the dogs that were in the campsite, because it was a public campsite, they were also barking. And they were just so muted compared to the noise of this thing. And then after like 15 minutes, when we finally just said we got to record with something, maybe it knew that we were trying to record with something, I don't know. But when we thought to try to record anything, stopped just like that. But the volume, the noise was so incredible. And it just sounded like, in retrospect, we think it was trying to scare something away, maybe. But it obviously didn't die, because it didn't fade into nothingness. It just was really, really loud, and then it was gone.
That's the funny part about Sasquatch, is they're there, then they're not. Then they're there, then they are not. I mean, John, when you had this, I'm going to assume you had this encounter with EJ. I mean, did you believe in Bigfoot before that happened?
Oh, actually, there was something that I had an experience earlier in my life. Excuse me, back in the 70s. There was a report near Lincoln, Nebraska, where I live, that some young couple had heard saw a Bigfoot off to the side of the road when they were out driving. And I heard about this in the Air National Guard where I was working. They'd heard about this. And then also the next day, from a completely different source, I heard that at the University of Nebraska, somebody had brought in a carcass, and this person, a young person there, was in the biological lab analyzing the tissue and stuff. So two completely different stories. And I also heard that it was, I got the name of the sergeant that was involved, and I tried to give him a call, and they asked who I was, and stuff. And I didn't get any further with it than that. But there was something like a Bigfoot running around, and supposedly a helicopter and trucks from the military or the sheriff's office went out near York, Nebraska and shot it and put it in a pickup truck and hauled it back to town. That's the story I heard from two different sources. So I don't know if it's true or not. But when we were out at Teal Lake, yeah, that thing sounded like I pictured like this donkey had gotten impaled on something and it was just screaming. It was just the ugliest sound I've ever heard for something. Like it had to be dying. So I figured we don't have time to get the recorders out because it's going to be dead in a minute. But it kept going. Like she said. It did not taper off. It just kept going. Finally, we said, we better record this. And sure enough, it stopped right just instantly. Not tapered off, just quit. And that night, there was a full moon, and Mars is as bright as it ever gets. It was a really brightly lit night sky. So, it's kind of like howling at the moon kind of thing. Perhaps that's kind of the impression I had. So, and I don't know of any animal that sounds like that. It sounded like a cross between a donkey and a woman screaming.
Could be my former mother-in-law, but
Yeah.
I don't know. God, if you had an encounter with her, that's the ultimate cryptid. Let me tell you this. In essence of John, of what you guys are getting to, I'm gonna put you back in the background again for a moment, because EJ, I want you to get back to your UFO stories here, because I kind of interrupted you with the Bigfoot story there, because that is a must on this show. As we got about 2 minutes to go before we have to go to break, the UFO side of things that you enjoy is you enjoy the learning about the patterns, the formulae that kind of put this all together. As somebody who has seen and experienced, how do you separate the science from the experiential side all in one?
Well, when we see stuff and it's just the best we can do is say it's an anecdotal story. We've seen this beautiful bright light that flashed at us after we had put up, please talk to us, please show yourself type stuff. We saw something and it was wonderful, but there was just no way to actually prove anything about it. It was a great experience, but we both want proof. So we brainstorm and we work off each other and we say, well, what could we have done in retrospect to get proof? And one of them is when we go out on Skywatch is to have two different cameras from two different locations so that we can triangulate the light so we can get speed, size, distance, whatever, and figure out where it is. We can look for UFOs where nobody else is looking, where people mostly just dismiss things as satellites, but just because they're flying in a straight line doesn't mean that they're a satellite. So again, if we can triangulate them, if we can look at them from two different places, then we can gather more data and we can analyze that data in a way that other people just aren't. And if we can actually create a network of people that can create cameras everywhere looking at the same thing, then we can just have a field day with real live data that nobody's ever been able to collect before. And that's what UFO-Track's about.
How many people have you guys got signed up so far?
That have units, 50 some, and that have heard our story and follow us, a few hundred. Some that just want to be, as they call them, watchers. We've got another couple dozen of those, but we're just barely ramping up. We want to get this out to everybody. We want to get people in every town. We do a 50-mile radius. So I'd like to get at least one unit within every 50-mile radius of the US so that we can watch something that gets plotted. Every time somebody reports, it goes on a map in real time. And if we can plot them, then we can watch it go over in real time.
EJ Thornton, John Craig, we're going to learn all about their UFO recording system in the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. I'm thrilled. I'm kind of captivated by this. I'm going to use big syllabled words tonight, so don't be too spooked as we go into the second half of Spaced Out Radio's first hour next. All right, we're clear. There we go. Let me get you off mute here.
You introduced the UFO-CO, you said, but it's UFO-CQ, like in amateur radio. A CQ is like requesting communication.
Blame my eyes. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's easy to make that mistake. I just thought I should mention that. So
I appreciate that. We'll get into that next on the show. Jose Sanchez, another birthday here in our chat room. Let's sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Jose. Happy birthday to you, Jose. Happy birthday, dear Jose. Happy birthday
to you.
To you. Good job, buddy. Another trip around the sun about to begin. Good for you. Thank you for being here. I always sing happy birthday to my regulars in the chat room.
Cool.
Very nice.
Very
One of those little things that we do.
The chat is going crazy.
David Todd, welcome to SOR chat, coming over from Jimmy's show. I love Jimmy. Great guy. Nice hair. I think I got better facial hair, though. I swear to God, I got better facial hair than Jimmy. But I love Jimmy. He's always been very good to me. Always been very good to me. There we go. You're welcome, Jose. You're welcome, buddy. All right. That's right. If you're a premium member, Dave will jump out of the birthday cake for you. That is right. Honest Content, how are you? Paramarv, my man, how's it going? Let's see here. What else was I going to mention? Oh, Sandra on Vancouver Island. By the way, I hope I was reading a report today that there is a giant female great white shark making her way up to Vancouver Island. She pinged right in between a few miles off the coast of just north of Victoria on the west side. Yeah. I'm like, this is why I moved from Vancouver Island. These situations right here. I am petrified of sharks. Yes, her name is Kara. That's right. Kara the great white shark. I'm going to find out how big she is. How big is Kara the great white shark? Oh, she's only 16 feet long, which would, let's see what weight would that put her at. What is the weight? So she's estimated to be between 2,200, around 2,200 to 4,200 pounds, depending on her size, whether or not she's pregnant or not, or anything like that. Yeah. Kara the great white shark. I'm honestly having an anxiety attack over it, that there is a great white that close right now. And I'm like 300 miles away. That's close enough. You see, John and EJ, I don't do the ocean. I'm a meal. Okay. I'm not an appetizer. I'm a meal. And I just don't do the ocean. I don't do water. I mean, I do showers and baths and maybe a hot tub the odd time, maybe a swimming pool, unless I'm the only one in the swimming pool. I will never be the only one in a swimming pool, because then I know that shark fin's going to come up, right? I know this. Yeah, Jeremy Jones is like, you'd hate to be me right now, because he's on a cruise heading from Aruba to where did he go? In Curacao or something like that?
Wow.
Someplace like that. Hold on, let me find it here. He got stung by a jellyfish today. I hope you peed on yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not. Algaray, what's scarier, sharks or your former mother-in-law? Oh my God. I've never been asked such a more difficult question in my life. My ex-mother-in-law, when I was having my dance at my wedding with her, whispers in my ear, "I'm going to be your biggest nightmare."
Oh no!
I thought
no.
I thought she was joking. She was not.
Oh no.
She was not. Hold on right there. We are going to come back here in 5 seconds.
Okay.
Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. UFO tracking is the topic with EJ Thornton and John Craig. We're going to have a great time coming up here momentarily. But first, I want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. We have John Craig. We have EJ Thornton. We're going to learn about their tracking systems that they have created to try and track and database UFO sightings. John, thank you for being here. EJ as well. John, tell us about your system.
Sure. Got it right here. It's not very big. It's got microcontroller. There's more circuitry in this than probably what was used to land on the moon. Little microcontroller that's got a lot of power. And it's got two special sensors, one for the Earth's magnetic field, the other for gravity. Accelerometer that can detect change to the Earth's acceleration, its gravity, how heavy you weigh, sort of. But mostly we think the electromagnetic field changes of the Earth can be detected. There's been so many episodes. We've been doing some research, and like Kenneth Arnold, he saw his airplane compass spin, and people don't know this, but there was a prospector on a mountain that was very, very close to where he where he was flying, and at the same time, and his compass was spinning. He reported it. It's in Project Blue Book. And so there's a lot of evidence that the magnetic field of the Earth can shift when UFOs are nearby. Don't know exactly why, but it's detectable. And so this sensor will just sit on your shelf. It's hooked to your Wi-Fi system. So when the Earth's magnetic field shifts, it will trigger an alert. You'll hear about 30 seconds of beeping. But more importantly, it'll send an alert through the Wi-Fi. Our server will then send out text, SMS messages, text alerts to all members within 50 miles and your own phone too. So even if you're at the grocery store and at home, your sensor goes off, you'll get an alert on your phone. So the goal is to get as many people in the vicinity to go out and catch multiple witnesses to the same event and multiple camera videos if we can, because we've got software that I've developed that can take, well, like the three dots that you saw, the three stars and the two that blinked out. If you had a camera and somebody else 100 yards away had a camera and you both got the same event on video, there might be enough data in there to do the triangulation and determine if it was 100 yards away and 10 feet in diameter, or if it was 5 miles away and 300 feet in diameter, or something else, or if it was stars, you could determine that too. It didn't sound like stars though. So we're out to get the multiple witness and multiple camera view data that we can. That's our real goal, and it's going to take a lot of people getting outside to get notified to get out to do this. That's what we're shooting for.
How much do those cost?
$100 and plus $10 shipping. So we kept the price down pretty low. There's a $5 membership fee for to cover the server and the texting costs. That's texting is a tricky thing, so we hire a different company to do that the legal way and all this, because you can get in trouble. So we're doing everything by the book. So there's $5 a week $5 a month for a membership fee to help us cover the cost of being able to get the text messages out.
That's still cheap.
Yeah, we figure,
and it fits in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, it's not that
so
big.
Is that a USB plug-in that you're using for this?
Yes. Right. I think you can see it. Right. It comes with a little power thing that you plug into the wall. And so once you set it up, connect to your Wi-Fi, you just leave it. Just sit it on a bookshelf or somewhere in your house, just a nice place away from metal and other things that might trigger it. We've had a couple false alarms, but it's fairly sensitive. And we've had some real alerts too. We just had a person in France just today report in that he had the sensor go off in the middle of the night when nothing was moving around or anything. So unfortunately, he didn't get up and go outside. He should have, but he did have an alert. We've had a lot of.
I want to ask you one more question before I get EJ back in here. How does it work? Okay, I plug it in, I connect it to my Wi-Fi. Okay, what happens then? If a UFO flies over, it sets off an alert. Does that all of a sudden alarm? Like, is it going to be like a hey Dave, get outside? There's something flying over anomalous right now. Explain to me how that works.
Yeah, effectively, that's kind of what it does. What it is it's monitoring the Earth's magnetic field direction and intensity, and it's pretty steady. It should be very steady. You know, the Earth's magnetic field doesn't change very fast at all. But if for 2 seconds you shift more than a certain minimum amount, then there's something going on. There's either a big hunk of metal real close to the unit, or the electromagnetic field of the Earth's been shifted. So that's what we're detecting. And then it triggers the circuitry to send the message to the server, and the server takes care of sending out all the text messages right away. But it also starts beeping for 30 seconds. So even if you're laying in your bed at night and the first thing you'll hear are the beeping, and almost instantly you'll get a text message also.
Oh, wow. I'm going to tell you, I will be buying one. I will totally be buying one here. EJ, I want to bring you in here for a second, because explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old here, because, you know, I could use big words, but it doesn't mean I understand them. Okay, where do I put this in my home? Does it have to be sitting outside? Does it have to be in a window? Or can I just put it on my kitchen counter and it's going to go through the roof?
You need to have it close to a plug, because it does use the house power. But if, as on the back of a bookshelf, we made it kind of attractive, so it looks like a little UFO sitting on the shelf, so it can be visible, but just wherever it's not going to get disturbed. Just put it somewhere, you know, behind a book, or on the back of a bookshelf, or next to something decorative, and just don't bug it. It's a little silent sentinel, and it just will report if it's got something to say, and it'll be there quiet if it doesn't. So
how does it get through like every house has electromagnetics going through, whether it's the wiring, whether it's energy waves or anything along those lines. How does it decipher or get past that, get through your ceiling to be able to detect what's flying in the sky, EJ?
well, you've got a baseline. The first thing it does is establish its own personal baseline. When you plug it in, it calibrates itself. And then if something disturbs it, then that's when it alerts. But it settles in for what kind of noise it needs to get used to. And then when something jolts it, that's when you're going to get your alert. And it'll, like I said, it'll beep. And if you're close to it, you'll hear it. And if you aren't, but you've got your phone with you, like I always do, you'll get your text message. And I put it on a different alert, so I know it's not just a normal text message, that this is a UFO-Track message. And we get everybody's alerts, so it's really fun for us. We're like, is it close? It's not. We get the worldwide alerts. So
Now,
France woke us up, Tasmania woke us up, all sorts of fun things. It's
how
great.
close to your home does this UFO have to be in order to set it off? Like, could it be traveling at, 500 miles up above your house or 300 miles above your house, and that's what's going to set it off? Or does it have to be like, within a few hundred yards of your rooftop?
It's going to depend on the size of the ship. If it was a mothership, that's, like Independence Day, I think that probably would have set off alarms all over, 3 counties. If it's just something passing by that's the size of like a fighter jet, that'll go off once. If it's something hovering that's kind of mid-range, I mean, who knows? This is a grand experiment. This is what we're trying to find out. But there's a difference between the size of a refrigerator magnet and the size of a mothership. So the distance to the magnetic field, the disturbance, is going to depend on the size of the disturbance. We don't know what that's going to be.
Pair of questions for you here. What about metal roofs? Have you tested it against metal roofs yet?
It finds its own status quo, like we said, metal roof, inside, outside, in the bathroom versus, next to water pipes, in a garage, whatever. We've had it several places in the house. The one thing we didn't like is the one time we had it too close to the power box. We got some false positives when it was too close to the power box. But the roof was not the issue at all. We've had it upstairs. We've had it in the basement. Right now, ours is in the basement. So,
John, you wanted to chime in?
Yeah, the easiest way to picture it is a compass works anywhere in your house. It can tell you which way north is because the Earth's magnetic fields penetrate. They're not oscillating. They're just a steady magnetic field. And this is what it really detects, is that steady Earth's magnetic field direction and intensity. So it should work just about anywhere. Magnetic fields go through metal roofs just fine. So a compass, anywhere that a compass works, it should work. And it is kind of frustrating to know how far apart or how far away a UFO would have to be, or how close, because I've heard that magnetic fields can't travel too far. You can't change the magnetic field too far out. But there's a lot of evidence from pilots, especially because they have compasses right in front of them. We've got a whole stack of reports that we've researched that this happens. The compasses go haywire, and that's what we're really detecting. Is kind of easiest way to picture it as a compass going haywire.
What about condos or apartment buildings, John?
That should work. That should work fine in those too, unless somebody has a huge motor that kicks in and throws electromagnetic fields around. But that doesn't happen very often. As long as you're away from any big metal. One of our false alerts when we were first testing this down here in the basement was we had the sensor on the wall and it went off. And said, whoa, what's going on? So after we settled down, we went outside and didn't see anything, but came back in and we realized some friends had helped us move a dryer down our stairs right through the wall, 3-5 feet away. And it was just enough metal in this big dryer to set it off, to change the Earth's magnetic field direction. So as long as things are steady, if the roof is just sitting still, which it is, it shouldn't affect the Earth's magnetic field. It's a change in the Earth's magnetic field that we're looking for.
Okay, what about airports, commercial traffic, private planes, Boeing 747s flying over? Do they affect the trajectory of this?
Doesn't seem to. It's just like a compass won't start spinning when that happens. It's really the same kind of thing. If you picture a compass, if it'll be whatever it is, if it'll affect a compass, then it could affect our sensor.
I got to tell you guys, I am fascinated by this. I want one.
Thanks.
I want one.
Well, we need to get as many as we can out there so we can get people to get the pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
One if one person goes out and sees a UFO, that's not real credible. But if 3 in the neighborhood go out and see the same UFO, describe it about the same way, then we've got something really good. And a huge subject here that we haven't really covered is that if you can get 2 camera views from, somebody here and somebody 2 blocks away of an object, you can do the triangulation and determine altitude. If the conditions are right, the more cameras we have, the more chance we have of being able to calculate altitude, velocity, and distance. You don't know how far away something is because you can't, it's hard to tell if a disk is just a small disk 100 yards away or a mothership 100 miles away. It's really tricky to tell. But if we can catch something that we can calculate is in what we call the no-fly zone, then we got something very special. And the no-fly zone is from 20 miles to 100 miles roughly, because balloons and airplanes can't go above 20 miles off the ground. They just can't. They don't. No man-made aircraft, unless it's exotic that we don't know about publicly, nothing can fly over 20 miles up. And satellites can't orbit below 100 miles roughly because they'll deorbit real fast. There's too much atmospheric drag at about 100 miles up. So if we can catch something and mathematically prove it's in the no-fly zone from 20 to 100 miles, then we got something special. So that's a huge goal of this whole project, is to get no-fly zone objects and then demand an answer.
I am just absolutely thrilled by this. And it hooks up to your smartphone.
Yeah, the text messages come to your smartphone, right? It's a simple text message, yeah.
So explain to me then, if you don't mind, I'm hooked up with this. I have it sitting in my house. My phone goes off with a beep or a, hey, Dave, get your fat butt off the couch. There's a UFO flying over, whatever the message may be. And trust me, I'm hoping it's the latter. Okay, I really am. But the alarm goes off. I look at my phone. What happens? What am I seeing?
You see a little map and you see some text. I have my, like EJ said, you can set, most phones, you can set the tone of that SMS text message from a certain source. You can set what's played. So I've set mine to a Santa Claus, ho, ho, ho. It's very loud. And, I like the Santa Claus kind of theme there. So when I hear a ho, 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 I know that it's an alert. So I look at my phone right away and I can see a little map, part of Google Maps, and you can see the approximate location. We don't put the exact location. We don't want somebody's house being given out to 50 people, 50 miles, but approximate location within a few blocks at the most. And it has latitude and longitude, and it has a code for which sensor went off, that kind of thing. We get the messages too, but everybody within 50 miles that are members gets the same text message. And they can get out and hopefully see something.
Okay. So, but let's say, like, I know you guys have the master copy. So if somebody in a different country gets a hit on theirs, like you mentioned France earlier, you get a message on that. Would me as a consumer of this product get a hit that somebody has had a sighting in France or something flying over in France too?
Yeah, EJ can explain that really well. We've got this whole mapping system. She loves to explain that.
EJ.
Yes. Instantly, those hits get plotted on a map. We have a website called sightings.ufo-track.com, and there's a hyphen between UFO and track. Sightings.ufo-track.com. Those, anything, whether it's a report, a manual report that is a different website we'll talk about in a minute, or one of these detections, it plots directly on the map. It's color-coded for what type of alert, whether it was a magnetic alert or a member report or a gravitic alert or just a random public report. And it's color-coded for that. And you can actually watch the map fill in real time, if you'd like, the hits all around the world.
So is there an app to download then, EJ?
No, it's just a website, sightings.ufo-track.com. You can go there now. It's open to the public. So you have to give us your email, and then we'll give you a special link into it. But you can go to sightings.ufo-track.com and see all that we've done so far. And then in real time, if you want to watch it like TV or have it on in the background, something new pops up, you know, something just happened. So
I got to tell you,
you could see France, we could see Tasmania. Canada was one just the other day, and Alaska was just one the other day. So as these guys pop up, what we want to see is that we alert people in the same proximity, and then they'll manually put in a report at report.ufotrack.com. That will also populate the map. So in real time, we can watch people see, and we can see where this thing is going. And then people can get out ahead of it if we can get that lucky.
oh my gosh, I love this. I love this. And I'll tell you why I'm excited about it. I have not myself, but I have had friends. Well, my current mother-in-law, not the spawn from hell, the other one, the good one. Um, one night she was staying at our house, and this going back probably 5, 6, 7 years ago now. And she got up to go to the bathroom, and she was staying in our spare bedroom in the basement. And after she came out of the bathroom, she was looking at this bright white light that was probably 30 feet away, but it was lighting up my back tree outside my window. And then it went off. So she thought it was our sensor light. So she went to see, okay, is there somebody in the carport? It's never somebody in the carport around here. It's usually a wild animal that sets off the sensor. But then she sees, as she walks towards the window, she sees a bright white light come down from the sky again, boom, on my fence line to my neighbor. And then boom, a little bit further, then off, and then boom, I have a parking lot across a green belt from my house. And then boom, it hits the parking lot. And then boom, it disappears again. And a few years before that, I actually had a friend of mine, a paranormal investigator, all about ghosts, didn't believe in UFOs, goes outside for a cigarette, and boom, light comes on over him, right? So I know my area has a big, big view of UFOs. There's something about this area that just attracts them. Personally, I think it has something to do with the volcanic history of this land. But that's just me, because we are on Volcano Alley, starting at like Mount Shasta all the way up towards Alaska, right? My area used to be a giant lava lake a million years ago. Plus, sure, it was warm. Probably get a nice tan over that. But it totally intrigues me about how something like this could all of a sudden grab that perspective. Because I think, if I'm correct, and please, EJ, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, if you cite a UFO, you might also be able to cite abductions too.
If you cite the UFO and you can report it, then you can tell everybody in 50 miles that it's out there. They can look up. And if they also report it, then they can tell, just the circle goes wider and wider. Now, the abduction story, I haven't never been abducted. I don't know. But if we can start documenting when and where these events are happening, and then something else peculiar starts happening, we've got corroborating evidence. The other day, somebody had their alarm go off. They went outside and looked. They didn't see anything in the sky, but the neighbor's cows were all agitated. In their words, the cows were screaming. So something was agitating the animals and setting off the UFO-Track detector. Now, we didn't get a cattle mutilation out of it, but, it really could have been. It could have been so many different things. But when you start to see 2 or 3 really odd events happening at the same time that the alerts go off, we're going to start to see how many of these things are connected, and we're going to have the data to put some of these events together and really start being able to dig into the science of this. Things that we never thought were related before, but really are. So that's what's super, super excited about this.
I'm totally fascinated by it. As an abductee, it totally catches my attention that this could be something special and unique, because I know I awoke one night and after what I thought I was being taken, and you get that feeling there's something in your room, it was right behind me. And when I got the cojones to finally turn over and look, I saw this big white flash out my bedroom window, and that feeling was gone. Something like this would have probably let me know and confirm. EJ Thornton, John Craig, we got him for the second hour of Spaced Out Radio next. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, guys, we are into the break here. I'm going to put you in the green room, and we'll be back in about 5.5 minutes, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right. I love these guys. They're so smart. They're so smart. This is so much fun. I'll be right back, guys. right, I am back. Let's bring, oh, no, that's not what I need. Hold on. There we go. Bring John and EJ back in. How fun was that first hour? Holy cow, did that fly by?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time.
That's good. That's good. I hope you're having an enjoyment here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got so many stories too. It's hard to cover it all.
Oh, yeah. John Jackson, how are you? Welcome to the show tonight. Seeing if I missed anybody here. Benny Larson, welcome to SOR Chat. I think we're caught up there. Thank you tonight to Kitty Caddywhack for all those little mini chats. Thank you to T-Bone ×2, Walter, Glenn John McEnroe. We appreciate the love. And Mike, thank you very much. Shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. You can wear our stuff out in public and actually be proud to wear it. And we appreciate you supporting us that way. Here we go with hour number 2. Let's dig into the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We have John Craig and EJ Thornton here talking about their UFO tracking devices that they've invented. This is absolutely great. We're going to get to this more here in the second hour. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. USense. USense is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam says the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. EJ Thornton and John Craig are here. They have an incredible project that is called sightings.ufo-track.com. Sightings.ufo-track.com, where for just $100 you can pick up one of their UFO investigator reporting kits. And this sounds amazing. If you missed the last half hour, you'll have to go back in the archives and check it on out. The archives are free, by the way, because I like them that way. John and EJ, thank you so much for being here. This has been a pleasure so far.
Wow.
Enjoyable.
For us too.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
John, I want to start with you on this one because one of the questions I was thinking about during the break is whether or not this would track the International Space Station, or maybe one of the SpaceX rockets that's going on up to converge with the space station, or maybe the ones that are going to be hopefully going to the moon soon. Would this system pick those up?
Not directly from the sensor, but going back to what we're aiming to get with multiple camera views, yeah, we actually photographed the International Space Station from 2 locations about 20 miles apart, and then did the calculations with the background of the stars. And it's very complicated, but you can actually calculate the altitude of the ISS. And we got it within 5 miles. It was like 265 miles, and we calculated it within 5 miles of the known altitude. So that's what we're trying to do with things other than the ISS. If we see something going across the night sky, and if it's just a dot of light going across the sky, you almost have to say, well, it's probably a satellite. But if we can do that same triangulation and find that it's like 60 miles up, there's no satellites at 60 miles. So that's why we're really intent on getting multiple camera views out there. So, but the sensor itself doesn't really pick up, it won't pick up the International Space Station or something like that. It's just helpful if something electromagnetic does come around.
Right, because I think, when we ask these questions about this, I guess coming from a skeptical point of view, there are a lot of people out there who say, oh, how do you even track something that we don't even know about? how do we track that technology? How do we know that this is truly going on and it's not just satellites or the ISS or a rocket or some sort of secret aircraft the US government is flying? I mean, that's the big one for me, John.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's certain things you can determine just from photographs and that kind of thing. But when you have multiple camera angles, this is something that I don't think anybody else is really trying to do. So we're kind of got a new thing going here because you can do the triangulation and determine that altitude. And just the altitude can tell you if it's impossible, if it can't be the ISS or a satellite. So we're getting data that nobody else has gotten before. That's our goal.
EJ, who has, in watching you guys build this, who is there anybody that's been out there that has really governmental wise come up and tried to tap into your system or trying it on out?
Government, no. Some of the other UFO investigative organizations are real interested in our data, and of course, and what we want to do is be the real-time gatherer of data that we can collect and then hand to these investigative organizations so that we can actually hand them data that has some teeth to it so they can really truly investigate. We don't want to really get into the investigation. We can do the detection and we can do some analysis, but if we got to call the airport and find out if flares were being sent up or if skydivers were being used, things like that. That's more than what we can handle. That's the good stuff for the MUFONs and the New Forks of the world, and they are interested in this data. If the government's interested, they're being very stealth. We have no idea, but we're also not trying to put this data behind a wall. It's the sightings anybody can see, so nobody has to come be stealth and kind of dig into things. We're very open. We want to share this with everybody. We want to have the electronics cheap enough that there's no cost prohibition and that they can get into the hands of everybody. And the $5 a month, if they don't want a device, but they just want to play along, get notified if something's happening, this $5 a month, that's not even the cost of a cup of coffee anymore. We want everybody to play and we don't want money to get in the way. And we want everybody to be able to see the data in real time, government or otherwise. We want everybody to see the data in real time so that we can all be in this together. Because we're a global community and this is doing nothing but prove that. So we're all in this together and we want to keep it that way. But if anybody's been coming for us, they're pretty stealth. But people are definitely interested in the data for later analysis, and we're more than willing to give it to them. So
for $100 for this detector and $5 a month in order to have it hooked up to the system, and that just covers your cost.
$5 a month is to get the notifications from the other people in the area. It's to be able to receive the notifications, not just send it out. So you have the device. That device will notify everybody within 50 miles. So you don't have to pay beyond that. If you just wanted a UFO detector that sends it out, that's all you have to do. But if you want to be the one that gets the notifications that somebody 10 miles away has seen something and you need to go outside and look, if you want to receive those notifications, that's what the $5 a month is for.
Okay, so is this hooked up to my address? So let me just explain here. Let's say I have a motorhome and I'm going camping out in the forest, but I also have Starlink that I could hook it up to. Is it going to triangulate the area that I'm in, say camping, or is it separate to my address of my home?
It's the longitude and latitude, and we obfuscate it just a little bit because it's not going to land on somebody's house. We do everything we can to protect the identity of our members, but it's the longitude and latitude. If you do have a mobile home, when you get to a new location, you're probably going to have a different, well, with Starlink, I don't know the actual answer to that, but you might have a different sign-on and password for the Wi-Fi that's local to the device. And as long as you've got electricity and a Wi-Fi and you're hooked up to it, then just change it real quick. It is very quick to change, but it's longitude and latitude based, and then you can tell everybody where you are. We had one that somebody moved and they did a new test, and I'm like, I've not sold one of those there, but they just rehooked it up to their new Wi-Fi and they were good to go. So
I'm going to be honest with you, John. This sounds way too simple. Like, you guys have already done the hard work, and the easy part for people like me is you just plug and play.
Yeah, you need to set it up when you get it. That's probably the hardest part. Just going through a sequence of steps to get the latitude and longitude and your Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi password in there. But once you do that, and it beeps 5 times in a row to let you know it's connected, and then it just sits there and it's quiet and silent until something happens. You can do a test. You can bump it, and you'll hear a single beep, and then you can bring a magnet nearby, and it'll send in a test alert. You'll get the test alert. We'll get the test alert. Nobody else. It won't send it out to the 50-mile radius. So there is a way to test it to make sure it's awake.
I'm at a loss for words, and I rarely am, because the one thing that I love about this is how affordable it is to detect this, because I know, as somebody who has had action around my house, that, when I've heard of projects like this before, when you add that fourth, or probably that third zero to the end of the numbers, that's where it starts to get scary. Like, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on something like this. I mean, you have to be diehard hardcore to spend that kind of money on some sort of project or device that would do this. But I mean, everybody out there, for the most part, can look at, well, you know what, I can scrounge up $100, especially in today's economy with everything that's going on, with gas prices, food prices, rental or mortgages or whatever. We blow $100 like that. Most people will blow $100 at the snap of a finger and not even know it. You go to the gas station because you're craving a Pepsi and a pepperoni stick to add to your $65 worth of gas. Well, that's another $10 that could be towards that. So we're really good at blowing money. But I mean, to invest in something like this, how long do these machines last, John?
They should last. There's really no moving parts or anything else. You keep it indoors, out of the rain. It should last, I don't know, forever. It seems like we couldn't have built this 10 years ago for this price. The circuitry that's come about in the last 10 years is amazing. The little microcontroller has more power. Like I said, it has more power than the computer they used to land on the moon by far. And it's much faster and more memory, all those details. So it allows doing some amazing things with the Wi-Fi chip and the sensor chips. So that's how we can keep the price down. It's the technology has caught up to what we want to do. And
I love it.
About it.
I absolutely love it. Let's get to some audience questions. Eric Cooper from Washington State is asking, where do we sign up for this project? EJ, I'll give that one to you.
Yeah.
If you go to patreon.com/UFO-Track, we just have a Patreon page, and it's $5 a month. So that's all you've got to do. And then you'll get the notifications of the machines and or the manual reports that are within 50 miles of you. If you want to get a machine, you go to UFO-Track.com and just look for UFO-Sense in that list. Click through, and they're available on PayPal. Super easy.
I love it. I love this so much. I don't get excited about things that much, but this is what I'm excited about. John, I saw you put your finger up there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that everything we do, you can get to at UFO-Track.com. That URL, that page will have a list of things such as the sightings and the other maps. We got a couple other maps too, and the UFO-Sense product shows where to go get it, and also the UFO-CQ, which we really haven't talked about much yet, but I think we probably will. But all that's on UFO-Track.com.
I love it. Let's go to Glenn here. Can my iPhone's magnometer detect this change in the magnetic field?
Yeah, actually, when I first started developing this, I was doing it for my Android phone, which has the iPhone and the Android have the same magnetometer and accelerometer chips in them, very similar. But it was problematic because anytime you move your phone, it throws off the Earth's magnetic field detection. And so the only time it'd really work is if your phone is sitting still. And every type of phone, iPhone and Android phone, we had all kinds of problematic issues with trying to get the program to work consistently on all the different phones. And you had to download an app and all this. It was really technically getting to be a real pain. So we just suddenly decided, let's just build a standalone unit that can sit there 24/7 and do this. So much simpler and better than doing it with the phones. So yeah, the same kind of circuitry is in the phones, in the iPhone and the Android, but this device is so much better and single purpose. This is what it's designed for.
Oh, I think that's absolutely great. Let's go to another question here. Let's go to Dr. Bob, who is asking, will it detect a U-2 spy plane?
I doubt it. I don't know that they're creating any magnetic fields with it, or changing the direction of north and the intensity of the direction of north. I don't think any conventional planes do that. At least, maybe if you're standing right next to it, perhaps, but I don't think it's going to do anything. Don't know exactly how the UFOs do shift the Earth's magnetic field, but there's a lot of evidence they do. So that's what we're going with.
I love it. I'm so excited. I usually don't do like infomercial type shows, but I'm so excited about this project. I can't wait to get one. I mean, $100 American, so that's about $760 Canadian right now. Oh my goodness, our dollar. But
yeah,
no, I tease on that, but it's not that high. It's maybe $100, about a 140 Canadian right now, which is all right. All right, let's go to Zachary. What if the UFO goes straight up? EJ, how about you take that one?
As far as detecting, unless it's right on top of you and then goes straight up, then that would be a change in the magnetic field. But if you do see a UFO go straight up or straight down or anywhere else, and the UFO-Sense has not gone off, you can manually report at report.ufo-track.com. And if you see something, report it. If you don't know what it is, report it. But if the UFO goes straight up, yeah, it'll probably change the magnetic field because it's really strong and then it gets weak. But it'll probably have detected it on its way down. So you would have gotten the alert if it was like right over you. I hope that answered your question.
I think it does. I'm going to change Jules' question up here a little bit, because we know you have them in other countries, but are all countries allowed to have this detection technology in it? Do we know, Jules?
I would think, honestly, I don't know. The ones that are open and can see YouTube and get this kind of information, we are in at least 8 different countries right now. Tasmania and many in Europe, Canada, of course. We haven't been in South America. We haven't been in much of Asia. But we're really not detecting anything that is secret or stealth or anything like that. So, like I said, if your compass spins, you're getting the same kind of detection. Whether or not a government would care, I don't know. I think that they would be more inclined to try to control who was a member and who was getting notified by the other things like that. I think that would be a little bit more heavily monitored than the device itself. Just because
go ahead, John.
Probably the trickiest thing is when we sign up a country for the SMS texting, that there are really strict rules everywhere you go around the world, and there's actually specific rules for France. I had to do that recently. And so the texting is probably the trickiest part with all the different countries. But most of the rules are just very common sense. What you're using the texting for. They don't want people to have problems getting spammed and all this kind of stuff. So we try to follow the rules exactly as stated and keep everything above board. People have to agree that they want to be texted by this device, just to cover everybody's base. So we're doing things right. That's probably the trickiest thing I've encountered with other countries right now. We have to specifically okay it for a given country. And so far, there hasn't been any problems. Other than the circuitry, I don't think it's outlawed anywhere that I know of. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But so far, no problem.
All right. Herb wants to know if the machine can pick up ghosts and other anomalies too.
I suppose it's possible. It just depends if a ghost can affect the Earth's magnetic field, or the other sensor is the gravity field. So like when you're in an elevator and you feel yourself get heavy as the elevator starts up, if that kind of a feeling happens for a full 2 seconds, the sensor will set off an alert also, and it'll report a gravitic alert. Or if you're suddenly way heavier than normal, or if you're suddenly lighter than normal for a full 2 seconds steady, it'll set off an alert. Don't know how often that'll happen. I don't know, but cows get floated up. Who knows? Gravity should be affected somehow, and if we don't know for sure if gravity alerts will work that much, but we've got it in there. It's ready to go if something does happen.
So in other words, hold on to it and cuddle it at night. So if the aliens come get you, the gravity alert will set it off.
Possible, and maybe ghosts and other paranormal phenomena. Who knows? Multidimensional existences, whatever. The list goes on and on. Maybe something in that list can affect the magnetic field of the Earth or the gravitational field of the Earth. So yeah, it could pick up something. I don't expect it to, but it is. You just don't know. It's there if it happens. Put it that way.
I'm going to go to T-Bone's question. I'm going to change it up a little bit here. He is, let's say you're sitting on your patio and you live more in a moist or humid climate. Will it be okay if it without being waterproofed? Or is it waterproof where moisture isn't going to get inside? So let's say you're sitting on your patio. It's a nice clear night out, but you live in a humid area.
Well, it isn't really waterproofed. It's kind of water resistant. I've designed, it's 3D printed plastic housing right now that snaps together. And so there's really no openings other than where it snaps together. I would guess it would take quite a bit of moisture to harm it. But it really isn't technically waterproofed. And if you wanted to coat the whole thing, if you wanted to paint the whole thing, the only thing hanging out of the UFO-Sense is that cable, the USB cable. So you could theoretically coat the whole thing with something. You never need to get into it. You get into it with your smartphone when you're setting it up. You don't even actually need to push any buttons or anything. So it is kind of easy to waterproof if you really, really wanted to. I don't know if I'd suggest that, but
you could always put it in a plastic bag, though. Like if you're sitting in your patio,
sure.
Get a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, that
put
would
it in there.
Yeah, if you had a little drizzle and stuff, that would probably keep it dry enough, sure. But it really is designed to be set on a shelf or somewhere in your house and just left alone. But keep your phone with you if you go outside.
With that, does it detect through clouds?
Sure. The magnetic field of the Earth, like I said, a compass is it's the equivalent of a compass. And if the compass is steady, there's no alert. If the compass starts to move because something is affecting it, that's what we're detecting for the magnetic field of the Earth. Yeah. And I don't think clouds affect that at all.
I'm going to get you guys to hold on right there because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. What an interesting show with EJ Thornton and John Craig about their UFO detecting technology. You could go to their site. It is UFO-Track.com or sightings.UFO-Track.com. Check it on out. Well worth it. If you think you got aliens, go get this. We're going to continue with audience questions in the second half of Spaced Out Radio next. listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. Paramarv, I thought about bringing out Flight 21 too, but you have to have the Wi-Fi, and there's no signals out there. So I don't know if that would work. Let's see here. Am I missing anything? All right, there we go. Let's get you guys unmuted.
Yeah, it would work locally in that you would get the beeps, but you wouldn't get anything on your phone. Yeah, if you don't have Wi-Fi.
So it would get the beeps if something was flying over.
Yeah,
That's all you may need.
If something's flying over and you're right next to it, yeah, you're going to get that. But you're also got to have electricity. So when you're way out into the wilderness.
Yeah, you got to have the plug-in.
Well, we got the plug-ins. That's not the problem.
It's just the Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Wi-Fi that's kind of the issue there. But I mean, this could be a good tool for Flight 21.
Yeah, there are other UFO detectors on Amazon. You can buy a couple of them, but they don't do anything at all about alerting other people or the network.
Yeah.
So.
But then again, if you're out in the field and you get the beeps and you're not hooked to Wi-Fi, if you do have cell phone service, you can just do a manual report and get the same effect.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. Where that is, we got nothing. There's no power lines. There's no cell phone service. There's no nothing out there. Like when you're out there, you're literally telling people, okay, if I'm not back by 3 o'clock in the morning, you might want to send somebody out to find me.
Sounds kind of nice.
But the one thing you can take out into that would be the UFO-CQ. So if you want to talk about that a little bit, the UFO-CQ is battery powered, and you can do the CE5 stuff wherever you want to go. So it's not going to detect. Hopefully that's going to call them in.
Right.
Yes. Yep. It's got it here.
Can you show our audience what it looks like again, my friend?
Sure.
The UFO-Sense and the UFO-CQ look a lot alike.
This is the UFO-CQ. They're basically the same shape housing, but they act a lot differently. They're two different products completely. The UFO-CQ has a ultra bright LED on it. My beta version had 16 LEDs on it, but this one LED is twice as bright as all of those. It's really bright. I'll flip it up. Sometimes on a camera you can tell it's pretty bright. But what you do is you set this on a table, on the picnic table across the way, and you take your smartphone with a QR code, you hook up to it, and then you can type in a text message and it sends it out in Morse code at alien speed or human speed, whatever you want to, whatever speed you pick. And it just sends Morse code, repeats the message over and over, and you can put any message you want in there. We always suggest a friendly message. And if you want to get abducted, you could ask for that, whatever you want to do, whatever message you want to put up. We've had a couple anecdotal results that are, can't prove anything, but it's a couple of really strange things. And that gets into communication in kind.
Yeah. There's 3 different types of UFOs we try to find where nobody else is looking. So that's part of it in the no-fly zone, and then communication in kind, and the electromagnetic. So we're trying to initiate contact and research in areas that people just aren't looking. But we're pretty sure that UFOs are there or cause those effects.
I want these.
That's awesome.
All right, we got about 50 seconds left. Thank you to T-Bone with a hat trick, Kitty Caddywhack ×4, Glenn John McEnroe, Mike Rivers, and Walter Kochabinski for the super chats. Want to remind all of you, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. It helps with our algorithms. And Luscious Jules will make sure that she doesn't tickle your feet if you haven't. And we'd also appreciate if you head on over to cariboucon.com. CARIBOO con, cariboucon.com, for our great event we're having here in 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia, home of SOR headquarters. We'd love to have you here September 18th through 20th for our event. So go check it on out. And of course, my new project, haunted108.com. Check it on out. Here we go. We are into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're taking audience questions about tracking UFOs with our guests tonight, John Craig and EJ Thornton. And EJ, I want you to take the next question here. This one comes from Karen, who is asking, before we buy a subscription, can we find out if there are any devices within the 50 miles of our home?
You absolutely can. There is a map of members, which is at members.ufo-track.com. And you can see if it's a blue icon, they have a device. And if it's a yellow icon, they're just people that are willing to receive messages and paying the $5 a month. So they don't have a device, but they want to be notified if some device goes off. But yes, I do have another device, another website that is just for tracking members, and it's called members.ufo-track.com.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's move on to another question here from Paramarv. Do you know if the detector has ever picked up other anomalies like portals being opened or closed? Who wants
Not
that?
yet. We some of the stuff that happened at the ranch where they had the screaming cows, they were sure that something else has happened there. We're trying to put some devices in some hot spots that we're aware of, like the UFO Watchtower up in Hooper, Colorado, where they do have vortexes and claim for portals. And so we would like to get that up there. We're just a little too young to know whether or not it's picking up things like that.
John, I want you to jump in on that with your opinion.
Yeah. What was the question again exactly? So,
just in regards to whether or not it can pick up maybe the opening and closing of portals.
It's possible. And like you just said, we just don't know yet. We haven't had enough of these out in the field to get solid data. We have had a few alerts, so we can't explain. So perhaps something like that has happened, but we need to jump outside and see if you can see something, I guess, is about the best thing you can do if it goes off and you don't know what it is. And if you see something strange, a portal or something, or, who knows what, an orb or a plasma ball or a UFO or anything, it's worth reporting. And then we can try to get better data and try to figure out what's going on.
Next question comes from Jules here, who is asking, some experiencers affect electronic things, especially when emotional. Has that been a problem with this kind of detection?
Not that I know of yet. Just, again, we don't have enough data to tell if that's true or not. It could be. We're wide open to all possibilities, very open-minded, and we just want data and facts and the truth. So maybe. We just don't know yet.
All right. Let's move on. Let's go to Stargazer. Will you eventually make a portable version with a rechargeable battery? This is what I've got my fingers crossed for. I'm not going to lie.
We've thought about that. So far we have. We're just focused on the one unit, but we've got ideas in mind for several other products. And something along this line is one of the ideas we've been toying with. But, if there's enough interest in that, we should put a little more effort into it. This one is really designed to sit at home in one spot and just left alone. And there could be a way to make a portable version where you could set it up and just recharge the battery and drop it off. That'd be good for camping. I agree. That would be really good.
I'll tell you why I think it's a fantastic idea to go with a battery version is because for a lot of us on the West Coast, when we are out sky watching, we're usually many times we're in areas where there are a lot of other anomalies taking place. You know, like I think of one of my teammates here on Spaced Out Radio, Lee Strauss, where he has about $100,000 worth of UFO detection equipment that he carries around with him. And when he goes UFO hunting, he is literally going into on top of mountains, like around Mount Baker, around Mount Adams, and the volcanoes right along Volcano Alley there. And there is no cell phone service, or there isn't anything like that. So a battery powered one for a detector would be very interesting, rather than, if you all of a sudden lose juice or lose signal or whatever, that you actually have that ability with the rechargeable. That would be great. That's just my 3.5 cents. I'm giving you, because I'm Canadian. I can't give you 2 cents. I got to give you 3.5.
Yeah, one of the problems is, as designed right now, we need the Wi-Fi connection to do the networking and the alerts. So then that we got to balance that out with a battery powered. You'd need to be able to have a Wi-Fi connection somewhere. So
right,
there's trade-offs. It's tricky technology, but we're doing the best we can right now.
Another Jules is asking, if you live close to an airport, will that interfere with detection sightings? Julie from Wisconsin, welcome to Spaced Out Radio's chat room, by the way.
I don't think it will. I don't know that any airplanes send out interference with the Earth's magnetic field enough to set it off. EJ, do we have a detector close to an airport? Somebody up east of our airport here was going to get one. I don't know if they did or not.
We actually live pretty close to an airport. As a crow flies, about 3 or 4 miles. And no, like John says, hold a compass out when a plane flies over and you won't see it flicker. So if the compass isn't moving, then the detector won't be affected. So I'm going to say no, living close to an airport will not interfere with normal airplane flights. So I don't think you're going to get more or less unless that airport attracts UFOs.
I get it. Next question for you, EJ, is what about EVPs? Now, obviously, you don't have the sound system for that, but is that even possible?
That's paranormal, but it's unrelated to what it is we're trying to accomplish here. So I'm going to say it's not part of our
it's not part of your forte.
No, but again, you go to the communication, we want to get into CE5s, which is calling them in. That's not with your voice and it's not with their voice, but it's the light communication with not ghosts, but with UFOs. So that's what we want to do with the UFO-CQ, is communication in kind. So with aliens, not without ghosts, but we're not designed to pick up ghosts and EVPs. That's not part of the process that we're trying to accomplish here.
All right, moving on. Let's go to Bad Cop, who is asking, is this compatible with ADSB? For people who don't know, ADSB is Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast. Just curious, John, maybe you want to take that one?
Or if I remember right, that's the signals from airplanes that can identify their location and motion, so you can see them on a map. Am I thinking right? ADSB?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. It's independent of ADSB, as far as I know. Again, that's all about aircraft traffic. And again, if you see something, you'd want to use ADSB on your computer and stuff to be able to identify if it is an airplane or not. But I don't think our sensor would pick up the airplanes like you just pointed out. It probably shouldn't and wouldn't pick up any airplanes or aircraft, normal aircraft.
Next question comes from T-Bone. What is the most incredible thing you guys have heard from people who have these detectors? John, we'll start with you.
I'm trying to remember we've had several very interesting detections. Probably the one I like was the couple that have had two alerts. One was with the screaming cows that we talked about. They live out in the country. And then a couple weeks later, their device was at home, sitting there on the shelf. They were coming home. They were a few miles away from home. And they suddenly saw well, first of all, they got an alert on their phone. So the device at home was going off, but they got the text alert. And they saw a bright white light coming straight down in the sky, right towards where their house was over the hill, a couple miles away. So they figured that had to have been related to the device going off. So that's probably the most incredible one that we've had. I'm trying to think if there's any other. The gentleman in France just 24 hours ago had his go off at middle of the night. So to me, that was an impressive one. He's had his UFO-Sense for several weeks, quite a few weeks, and hasn't had any alerts until that. So,
EJ, how about for you? What's been the most impressive one for you?
Well, I've got to agree with John that the one where they got alerted and then they saw the bright white light basically descend and land at the same time. When we can get the data, the magnetic alert corroborating with a witness sighting, I mean, that's gold. That's what we're trying to do. And we have, even in our early stages, have had that. We had another one who lives near there with a different detector, but she had her alarm go off. She went outside and looked up, but it was raining. She couldn't see anything, but she has contacts in the military who also said that one of their detectors had gone off, and that was the gravitic detector, not just the magnetic detector. So they had a specialized alert, and they corroborated with external sensors, pretty high-powered ones, I would think, in the military, that said that they also detected something in the area. Later that day, they got a picture, but we don't know if it was related. So those, when we can get the detector and we can get corroborating data, that's gold. That's so much fun for us.
We're going to ask two more questions, and then I want to get into the CE5 detector that you have.
Okay.
And let's go to Paramarv here. Any thought about creating a model that uses cell service rather than just Wi-Fi?
I thought about that. There's Bluetooth, there's cell service, and there's Wi-Fi, and then there's a LoRa, long-range radio. There's several options, and I'm going to be exploring all of those. It costs a little bit to get the cell service chips going on a device that's separate from your phone, but right now we're sticking with this till we get this network built, and then we'll try to add some more products to it as we can. So we're continuing to investigate all kinds of options, and I'm even trying to make an all-sky camera that's a lot cheaper and better, or easier and cheaper, so a lot of people can get these out there. If we can get the all-sky cameras, 2 or 3 of them getting the same object, then we can do those calculations I was hinting at earlier. So we're exploring all the possibilities. Right now, we don't have any plans to develop a cell service one, but it's a possibility.
Matthew is asking, can it work with a hotspot on your cell phone device?
Yeah, let's see. If it acts like a regular, yeah, it should. I haven't really tried that. That's a good question. To set it up, you go into a special mode where the device actually acts as a Wi-Fi router itself temporarily. Very, very specialized little tiny Wi-Fi spot. And then after you connect, you tell it where the main Wi-Fi is. And if you tell it the Wi-Fi on your hotspot on your phone, it might work. You'd have to leave your phone on hotspot, I guess, to do that. But that should theoretically work. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. All right, let's just go into EJ here. I want to know about this CE5 detector that you have. First off, maybe for people who may not know what CE5 is, maybe explain what that is first, EJ.
Well, CE5 is Hynek's level of close encounters. The first is just sighting, and then second is physical contact. Third is abduction. Fourth is abduction, right? anyways, 5 is when you call them in, human initiated contact. So the shorthand for that is CE5, contact level 5. So what that is just human initiated contact. So basically, somehow you are sending out either through your thoughts. Some people do it through meditation, etc. We do it through flashing Morse code up to the sky. So you can take your cell phone and you can say anything that you want and send it over to your UFO-CQ, and it will flash that Morse code message out to the sky repeatedly until you turn it off. It'll flash, wait 15 seconds, it'll flash again. So all night long you can have the same message being sent out to the sky. Basically, we're thinking that there's a thing called communication in kind, that they can communicate with us at the level that we communicate with them. So if they're not giving any secrets away of the universe, but we can communicate in kind. So we put these flashing lights near us when we're doing a sky watch, and then we watch the sky. We've had very exciting responses to that. One of my YouTube videos is called The Night the Sky Talked Back. And what we did was we put out a message that just said, UFOs, please show yourselves. And we ended up seeing, I don't know, dozens and dozens of lights that just hung around on the horizon all night long for hours. And we actually had 2 cameras going that night, and we could tell where those lights were, what was right below them, how high they were. And we didn't calculate speed, but we could have, because we had the triangulation stuff going. They were just pinpoints of light. We couldn't see much more than that, but boy, we think we got a great answer. So we think that you can communicate in kind and get a response. And we've had several responses. And in fact, tonight when we were on our debrief, one of the things that you do is get a weekly debrief with us on Zoom. It will tell you about all the events of the week. But one of the gentlemen who was one of the first ones to buy the CE5 or the UFO-CQ just told us tonight that he had an experience last night, and he had his UFO-CQ out all night, and he saw something pretty peculiar. So we think it works pretty well. And it looks just like the UFO-Sense. Uses the same body, but the innards are, of course, different. And it's battery operated, so you can take this out to the field. And just when you're out on a sky watch, just say something nice to the universe and see how they respond.
I find that just amazing, because realistically what you're doing is the same thing as I guess you'd be using an electronic device in order to try and summon them in. That's what you're trying to do. But this time, instead of the Kmart blue light special, over top of your house, you literally have a signal that's shooting directly up into wherever the ether ends.
Yeah, communication in kind. Like there's people who flash their headlights and they'll flash back. This has happened several times. Or I've noticed a lot of times when people see a UFO, they were just before thinking about UFOs. Or, there's all kinds of connections there when UFOs are seen, that possibly they're responding to something. So anyway, if they can communicate.
John has the best CE5 story that was 1976.
Okay, we need to talk about this, John.
Yeah, I'm not sure we have a lot of time left, but I can tell briefly.
We have 5 minutes.
Okay, I can probably get there. I was living in a mobile home out at the outskirts of Lincoln, Nebraska. Had a baby daughter, infant daughter, and my previous wife, I left them in the mobile home because people had been seeing UFOs for several nights in a row, and I was all excited about that. So I tried this experiment that's crazy. I split a message up into 2 parts. I don't want to get too technical, but I basically sent out half of the message on my pager that I had for my job. You speak about 5 seconds on the pager, so all around town this radio signal would go out. I also had this PDP-8 computer in my mobile home that was sending out radio signals. You could hear it in your headphones on an AM radio. So I sent out half the message there and half on the pager. And if you combine the two halves with an exclusive OR process, you could get the original message. Nobody would do that. And after I did this, I thought, oh, this is crazy. And I just sort of forgot about it. The message I sent out was, UFO, meet me at top of hill about 9 p.m. tonight. And I just did that as a fun experiment. And then I forgot about it. And then that was in the morning. Later that day, a friend of mine and I went out driving to look around for UFOs because he had heard about them also. It's like every day these people were calling into the radio station with UFO reports. So we drove out around west of Lincoln. Not very many hills around there. It's fairly flat. But we drove around, didn't see anything, drove him back home, dropped him off at his home about 10 o'clock at night. I got home. My wife was freaking out. She was so just, she said the TV had gone to snow and white. The baby had started crying. The cows and the dogs outside, we were parked at this dairy farm, and the cows and the dogs had all gotten crazy. And she said about 9 o'clock, she was just freaked out. So I felt really guilty for leaving her at home while I was out looking for UFOs, even though I didn't see anything. So the next morning I listened to the radio, and sure enough, family had seen something. So I called her up, this family, and the lady was really eager to talk all about it. She said that they were sitting watching TV. They saw red lights out the window. They went out in the yard and saw a bunch of flashing red lights up on the highway, kind of a high spot at the end of their long driveway. And they watched for several minutes, and all of a sudden this whole mass of red flashing lights went up in the sky and flew away. And I said, whoa, that's pretty good. Where do you live? Then I started freaking out because where they lived was just over the hill from our house. They were looking northwest. Our house is just over the rise in the road. You couldn't see our house from her house, but we were right there where those red lights were coming down at 9 o'clock. So I was out driving around. My wife was at home. A bunch of red lights landed on the road right next to our house. And that message I had sent out earlier in the day, it didn't hit me until actually years later. I didn't tell anybody about that experiment. But years later, when I started thinking about communication in kind, it hit me, geez, maybe I actually called them in. So I don't know for sure, but it was beyond coincidence, I felt. So that's one of the reasons I think communication in kind can be real. If you send them a message, they have a chance to respond, and similar to the amount of communication complexity that you send out. So kind of missed out on an opportunity driving around looking for them when they were right at home.
With about a minute and a half to go, I got to say that is a very, very close encounter.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we all look at those type of encounters. We think, man, I want that to happen again. I want it to happen again because I would do it so differently. You know,
I promised my current wife. I promised my current wife I wouldn't do that without asking her first.
Oh man, I had a situation in 2014 like that. I was over at a friend's house, and I actually had a ship call me outside of their backyard, and it was about 150 yards away when it was turning its lights on, and it was a giant blue cylinder standing vertical, and this thing was probably 30 feet tall compared to the trees that were about 60, 70 feet tall. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's way more to that story, but that's for another day. Quickly, EJ, if you don't mind, give us your links as we wrap it up.
If you go to UFO-Track, TRACK.com, it's a hub for everything. But you can go to Patreon there, patreon.com/UFO-Track. You can follow us on YouTube and see some of the videos of these stories. But go to UFO-Track.com, go to sightings.UFO-Track.com and see what we've been able to accomplish so far. And then go to Patreon and join us. And if you want a device, go to UFO-Track.com. It's about the third one on the list. And,
love it. EJ Thornton, John Craig, you guys were amazing tonight. Thank you. Coming up in hour 3, Swamp Dweller and Robin Haynes.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
That was awesome. That was awesome, guys. I hope I was good for you guys, and because you were awesome for us.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Good. We'll stay in touch.
Okay.
Because I definitely want to try and get one. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
just if you
sounds good.
join the network, we absolutely will. But we have email, so we can go back and forth as well. I'd be happy to.
Absolutely. Have a good night, guys.
You
Okay,
too.
thanks so much.
Tell Julie Luscious Jules,
Yeah.
that what she just wrote is a dedication to my book, Angel on Board.
All right. Will do.
Okay.
You just did. Take care, guys.
All right. See you.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
John Craig, EJ Thornton, everybody. I'll be right back. Let's bring in Robin. Hello, Robin.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great.
Benno, how you doing? Welcome. Anybody else jump in here? There we go. We're caught up there. We got about 50 seconds. Big thank you tonight to Kira, T-Bone with a hat trick, Kitty Caddywhack with a hat trick +1, Mike Walter, and Glenn John McEnroe. We appreciate the super chats tonight. Thank you to everybody who's given us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do so. It helps with our algorithms. Introduce you to Caribou Con. Go to cariboucon.com. Get your tickets for September 18th through 20th in beautiful 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. We want to see you all here. And of course, you can support my new project, Haunted 108, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, and at 108, haunted108.com if you want some paranormal touristy events that you want to check on out. We're going to get going here in 5 seconds. Swamp Dweller will be about 3 minutes, 50 seconds. Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. USense. USense is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night. Right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. This is currently happening, and I'm not sure what to do about it. There is this girl at my job, Amy. She seemed like a sweet girl and fun to talk to. Also extremely cute. We became work friends. I would look forward to chatting with her at work. Nothing major. We exchanged numbers and texted occasionally. Funny memes, pet photos, etc. Then it escalated a little bit. Amy started flirting with me, so I flirted back. We would send each other selfies on Snapchat, and she started sending me slightly risque photos. It was nothing nude, but obvious flirting, you know? She said she thinks I'm cute, and she has a little crush on me. Well, I was having fun until I realized that Amy has a boyfriend. Because he messaged me informing me he is her boyfriend, as well as a barrage of insults. He called me all kinds of stuff. He bets I'm ugly compared to him, that she's just using me for validation, that they played me, and they make fun of me together, and how ugly and stupid I am, etc. He told me to leave her alone, calling me a dirty N-word, like the racial slur. But I don't know why, because I am white. So I said, I'm sorry, man, I didn't realize, I'll back off. Even though she initiated it, and I had no idea she had a boyfriend. But whatever. I blocked her on everything and avoided her at work. Despite this, he started contacting me from fake numbers constantly, just insulting me. Psychotic rants that would switch from begging, please man, don't do it, please don't sleep with her, to screw you man, I hope you die in a fire. Like out of nowhere. I told him again that I do not want anything to do with her anymore and that I blocked her and that he needs to stop bugging me. You would think that would be over, but no. Amy contacted me yet again. She made a second Instagram account, found me, and started messaging me, wanting to have sex. I was like, no, I'm staying far away from you. Bye. And I blocked her. Somehow her boyfriend found out because he called me from a blocked number and screamed slurs into the phone. The slurs made zero sense, as he used terms for Jewish people, Mexican people, and black people. Like I said, I'm white, so I don't really understand a lot of these slurs, but I know they're bad and I don't want to repeat them at all. They're honestly disgusting. He sounded like a 13-year-old trying to think of every slur and swear word to use. There sounded like there was a struggle in the background and he hung up. He called back, repeatedly screaming into the phone, calling me ugly and more slurs. I heard smashing glass and other noises like there was a physical fight going on. I should have called the cops, but I did not because it's not my business. Again, I thought that would be the end of it. Amy started ignoring me altogether. Then she started calling me gay and all kinds of other stuff and said that she was woke as hell compared to me and that I'm a loser. I keep getting requests on Instagram from obviously fake accounts. He has texted me even more fake numbers at odd hours. Texting calls are one thing, but I've gotten a little scared because for the past 5 or so nights, I keep seeing the same old red car parking in the back of my work parking lot, facing the window to the restaurant, just sitting there for a couple of hours, every single day. I think it's the guy stalking me at work. I'm getting paranoid about my safety. And I can hold my own, but some people are just unstable, and you never know who you are dealing with. He has not made any outright threats though, so I feel like I cannot do anything as far as reporting him. I am considering telling my manager at work, but I don't think they will care. Perhaps they might even blame me. I am literally considering quitting my job. It is just a restaurant gig because of these actions. It is super creepy. I do not know why I triggered this guy so much. It is so stupid because it's obviously not my fault. This is Amy and her boyfriend's fault. You would think that they are in high school, but we're all in our mid to late 20s.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for a weird, crazy story. If you want more just like that, head on over to Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell on YouTube. Thousands of stories for you to choose from each and every night. So go for it. It's a lot of fun. From the swamp to the forests around North America, here comes our favorite Bigfoot beauty, Robin Haynes.
Robin Haynes walks soft where the tall trees sway. She hears Bigfoot whisper what the wind won't say. Through the veil of the forest where the wild man plays, the Bigfoot psychic talks to Sasquatch every day. Only on Spaced Out Radio's Cryptid Q&A.
Robin Haynes, it's always great to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you for coming. Hard to believe we're only a month and a half away from the Nebraska Bigfoot Conference, where I'm so excited to be a speaker once again for the 3rd year in a row. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, we love having you. We're very excited. We've got a lot of fun coming up.
Can you give us a little list of a rundown of the guests who will be there speaking?
Yeah, I'd have to have my notebook, but off the top of my head, we've got you, we've got Vera, and I never pronounce her last name right. But
Carla Ventura.
Thank you, Ventura. And we've got Daryl Denton coming. We have Kunbo Baker. We have Christy Sci-Fi and her father will be there. We have Brian, who is normally there introducing people, and he will actually be a speaker this year, as well as one of our team members' friends, Jamie, who has her own experiences. So she will be there. We've got William Lunsford coming, and we have Brian Bland coming. So we're very excited about that. I'm trying to think who I forgot. Oh, Chris Chastain will also be there. So we've got 10 people coming. If I forgot anybody's name, I'm sorry. I don't have my notebook in front of me. But we've got a really, really good list. Like, we've got a solid list of speakers this year. It's going to be a lot of fun, some great stories. My friend Chris Chastain is going to be there, but he is also, we may put them on Zoom. His niece and nephew are like, I think they're 9 and 11 or 8 and 10. And they are getting ongoing interaction with the Sasquatch. Chris and I have been working with them, going out in the woods with them, trying to teach them all the different things about them. And they've gotten to the point now where the kids can be out in the front yard with their mom, of course. We never want any children to be out in the woods by themselves with Sasquatch. And their mom is with them, and they will ask them a question. And they will say, you know, knock 1 time for yes and twice for no. And they will actually get responses. So we're going to have them pipe up, you know, on the Zoom so that the audience can ask them some questions and they can talk about their story as well. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to give people a look at the fact that, you know, the kids are experiencing these things too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. I cannot wait to get there.
Yeah.
And of course, where can people get tickets?
You can go online to the Nebraska Bigfoot Conference 2026. And our list of speakers will be on there, as well as their bio and headshots. And you can go from there. You can get, if you buy early, you can get the weekend package, which saves you a little bit of money, or you can always buy at the door. You can do it either way. And you can buy for one day, or you can get a weekend pass.
Love it. Love it. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
In the last segment, we were talking with John Craig and EJ. Why can I not think of her last name? Thornton. EJ Thornton. I apologize, EJ, if you're listening.
That was me with Vera. I couldn't remember her last name to save my soul.
We were talking about summoning UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you then is, I want to change this up a little bit. Can you summon in cryptid creatures?
I want to say yes and no. It's entirely up to them, just as it is with the UFOs. You can't summon them. Okay, they're independent. They are human hybrids. They are independent. They do what they want to do. You can make things favorable so they know you're there. Now, when I lived in Michigan, and this has already been put out there for years, everybody knows about it. They used to come up to my window in my bedroom at 2:00 every night, knock on my window, want me to come out. And I would go out there and I'd sit out in the woods with them, and they would walk around me and they'd chatter and they'd talk and do all these things. But if I went out there early and they weren't outside yet, I would call to them, and it sounded like freight trains running in the woods. Okay. So you don't summon Sasquatch. That's not how it works. But if they are familiar with you, if you haven't having ongoing contact and you go out there and you call for them, it is up to their discretion, but they will come in and out. If you are new on the scene, you don't have a particular clan you're working with, don't chase them around. If you want to get them to run away from you, that's the way to do it. Make things a situation that they're comfortable with. They want to be in control. Go have a bonfire, sit down, roast marshmallows, and sit and wait for them. Laugh, have fun. When you laugh, it raises your vibrations. The higher your vibration is, the more they want to come to you. The lower your vibration is, or if you're having nefarious thoughts, they're going to avoid you like the plague, because they can read your vibration. They read your intent. You cannot hide it. So if you want, in fact, to get contact from them, you don't summon them in, but you do make it favorable conditions that they may want to. And just like Dave and you and I have talked about this before, when you go out to your research area, and you will, I've said to you before, and you also do it, start talking to them in your mind before you get there. Let them know you're coming. And 9 out of 10 times, like in your case, because they like you so much, they're already there waiting for you when you get there. So it's not exactly a summoning them. It's more favorable conditions that would entice them to make them want to come to spend time with you.
So it's like a telepathy.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like I said, if you are not using telepathy or mind speak, have a campfire, sit down. My children grew up with these things around them. Okay, that was very common for them. And my daughter would go out when she was in school and she played the clarinet for band. She'd go put a blanket out on the ground, sit out in the backyard, play the clarinet, and they'd come walking up out of the woods. They couldn't wait. She wasn't the Pied Piper. She wasn't doing any. They have free will. They have a choice if they want to come, but you can make conditions favorable that might entice them to come in or want them to come in. Whereas with the UFOs, we've all done various things to get the UFOs to come in. You just have to be careful because you don't know if they're good or bad.
Tell us about how this telepathy or this telepathic connection works with not just Bigfoot, but other cryptids as well.
When you have a high enough frequency, you then go into using your collective consciousness. Okay, everything is linked through frequency and energy and the collective. So when your frequency is high enough, it opens those ways of communicating back and forth. People automatically assume that telepathy or mind speak is hearing words in your head. And yes, you can get it that way. However, what people don't seem to realize is there are a multitude of ways to get it. It can be a feeling, a thought, an emotion, all of these things without words. That is a feeling, thought, or emotion that is not yours. It just comes out of nowhere. A sense of knowing, and you don't know why you know it. It can absolutely be words in your head. It can actually be something, image, something that plays like a video. There are some that, because they have that deeper guttural sound, it's easier to hear them in mind speak. They speak clearer, but sometimes it's still hard. And I'll say, okay, spell it out, especially with their names, because their names are not like ours. And I'll say, I need letters, let me know. And they will in turn spell it out. They will give me the letters that I need to have to know what they're trying to say. So you can get it in any way. It's anything that is not your own. Walk out in the woods and all of a sudden you get out in the woods and you're like, I feel like this situation happened. I don't know why, but I get this feeling that this is what happened. That is also mind speak. It comes in so many ways that people can't comprehend it. And we have all, I believe, gotten it at certain times, but it's also very, very subtle. So like in your case, you go out to the woods and you're going to your research area and you're talking in your mind. Just talk in your head. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Hi guys, just wanted to let you know I'm coming out to your area. I'm coming, with peace and love in my heart. If you want to interact with me and you want to come in peace, I welcome the interaction with you. Tell them whatever you need to tell them. They will hear it because it's all done through the collective consciousness. And they can hear every word we say at any given time. You can forget privacy because there is none. And it's like that with all the cryptids. It's like that with elementals, dimensionals, aliens, all of that. They're all highly telepathic. We're telepathic. We've just been led to believe that we're not. And when you stay in that third dimensional state of mind, you cannot access your abilities, which means you cannot access the telepathy. When you raise that frequency, things start to change. You see things through different eyesight, through a paranormal spectrum. That's when you start seeing some of these cloak things moving around and things running around in the woods that you didn't see before. But that's also when you get mind speak. Also with mind speak, if you are not able to realize you're getting mind speak, that doesn't mean you can't give it. It can be a one-way street. You can speak to them and they're going to get it every time. If you are not able to have recognition that you're getting mind speak, do not ever think that the ones out there that you're talking to can't hear you. The other thing is, the more you think about cryptids, the more you talk in your mind to them, the more aware they become of you because they pick it up through the collective.
What is the collective for people who may not?
Yeah, your consciousness. We all have a consciousness. When you have a higher frequency, it links and it meshes with other consciousnesses, whether it's animals, plants, trees, aliens, cryptids, other humans. And it's all, the cryptids do very well because they work under the law of Ra, which is the law of one. The law of one means everybody's consciousness links together, and they call that the collective. When the energy shift happened, and it'll be 3 years ago this month, actually on the 14th, was when it had started previously, but the main push was then. And when they did that, all these different cryptids, whether they got along or not, all worked together to help push the frequency into a higher level. They worked through the collective. They worked under the law of Ra, which is the law of one. Once it was done, then they were done with it and they could go back to disliking each other if they wanted to. But when it comes down to push comes to shove, they will work together for the greater good. And that's called working under the law of Ra, which is the law of one. This is why their people succeed for all these hundreds and thousands of years, and our people are dismal failures, because a lot of us, that have a higher frequency are good people. They work and they care about other people amongst just not themselves, and they want to make things better for other people. But because of free will, we also have people that are out for themselves. And those are the ones that just can't link into that collective consciousness. And that's where our people fail.
How in depth do you have to be? I realize with telepathy or anything, any type of spiritual communication, you need to have a clear conscience, clear heart, clear soul. And so that way, whatever is around, whether it's UFOs, whether it's ghosts or cryptids, can see the real intention behind what you are doing. For a lot of people, how do we get there? How do we clear that energy space to allow them to come in?
It's all about raising your frequency. This is part of the reason why I started my business. I teach classes on how to raise your frequency. But for people not involved in any type of a class situation or a mentor that can teach them how to do it, you can do it by yourself. Okay? You have to realize that first off, your body is a third dimensional chamber. That's all it is. It's a holding unit for your frequency, your energy, your soul, and your consciousness. Those are all of a higher frequency. You learn how to use the frequency and energy within your body to raise that frequency. Once you do, we all have abilities, okay? Even if we aren't a person that really believes heavily, and then we all have them, but you can't access them without a high enough frequency. Now, some people can, automatically, they're high frequency people like yourself, Dave. That's why you're able to do some of the things that you do, and you're very intuitive. But also, there's basic things, and this isn't going to make your frequency raise high enough to do a ton of abilities, but it can possibly raise it enough to maybe get mind speak. Things that bring you joy, raise your frequency. The highest frequency is love. That raises your frequency. Petting your dog, petting your cat, going golfing, reading a book that you like, going to the movies that you like, things that bring you joy raise your frequency. Okay? The things that keep it low, arguing, fighting, depression, staying in a negative environment. When you bring joy into your life, it raises the frequency. Now, like with my students, they're coming to me because they want to learn how to do the energy work. They want to tap into their abilities. They want to know how to use them. And they want to help with the greater good. But for just anybody that wants to be out there and just wants to do that on their own, and that's perfectly fine, not a problem. Do things that bring you joy. Embrace the people that you love in your life. Try to help another fellow human being. Be nice to a stray dog or cat. Do good work. All of those things not only makes you a better human being, it raises the frequency. If you're feeling, and we all have a baseline of frequency, okay? Because it goes up and down every day. Some days we're not in the best of mood. We've had a crappy day at work or whatever, or somebody's upset us, and you are down in the dumps. But those people that normally have the higher frequency because they're a person that is more pure-hearted, tends to stay on the happier side of things. When they go down in that, like a day that's really bad for them, they still have a baseline frequency that will still hold good. And then to enhance that, to tap into abilities such as telepathy, then we do those extra things that might bring us up. Let's say you're a person that loves ice cream, go eat a bucket of ice cream. Whatever you make. Now, the highest frequency is love. Spend time with the person that means the most to you. Your family, your children, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Things that bring you joy will raise your frequency. Now, if you want to tap into all the other abilities that can open up for you, then you need to find somebody that can help you do energy work within yourself to bring that frequency up high enough to access those.
And on that note, we're going to get you to hold on right there, Robin, as we have Robin Haynes in the Q&A right till the top of the hour, where we get into everything cryptid on this show in a spiritual communications sort of way. It's kind of an interesting little ditty we do each and every week. Robin Haynes will be right back with us on Spaced Out Radio.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear, Robin. Let me unmute you here. There you go.
There we go.
Perfect. Parfait.
Yeah, using the energies and the frequencies is a blast. I had a gal that I was working with tonight, and we had so much fun. She is just such a doll. I am so blessed to work with her. I just adore her. And she just has this beautiful, high energy, angelic energy. She's just amazing. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's not just tapping into your abilities. It really can be life-changing for people that spend their life feeling like the round peg in the square hole, like they don't fit in. They don't feel like they fit in because they technically don't. They're a high frequency person that's living in a third dimensional world, and it makes it very difficult. It makes you feel off balance. You get balance by keeping one foot in the third dimensional world, going to work, taking out the trash, doing your laundry. And then the other foot, you do work in the paranormal realm. It doesn't have to be something creepy or freaky that's scary, but it's frequency work and building up that frequency in your body and maintaining the higher frequency. It balances you out and you get a sense of clarity that you've never had before, and you feel more like yourself than you ever have. Like in your case, Dave, if you did nothing but go to work every day, you didn't do spaced out radio, you weren't doing the haunted 108, you weren't out in the field working with the cryptids, you would be off balance because you are a high frequency person. You've got to have one foot on each side in order to be in alignment and to be balanced. Not only would you miss those things, you would feel like part of you was gone and you wouldn't be your authentic self. So when you get one foot on each side, it balances you out, it evens you out, and you have a sense of peace.
Yes, you do. I cannot deny that.
Well, and the other thing that people don't realize is with the higher frequency, I work with trauma patients too. No, I'm not a doctor, okay? I do frequency work. But in a third dimensional brain, that third dimensional brain can't deal with trauma well, which is why we have a problem progressing and trying to heal, why we have moments that are blackout and we don't remember the trauma. A third dimensional brain can't deal with it. It doesn't know how. It's not equipped to. When you have a higher frequency, and we start out by raising that frequency, getting you established with that frequency, then you automatically start coping and dealing and moving forward with your life. Certain memories can come back for you and you're able to deal with them in that higher frequency because that's the frequency that you can deal with it. You can't deal with it in a third dimensional brain.
I agree. We got about 2 minutes, my dear.
Sounds good.
Excuse me. Man, I'm so excited. So excited.
I know. And if Joe Monk is listening tonight, he's got 2 extra Sasquatch out there. There's 5 out there instead of the normal 3.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen him tonight. Oh, he's out of town, I believe.
Ah, okay.
He's out of town.
And they're probably running all over up there looking for him.
Probably.
They love him. They absolutely adore him.
Because he looks like one of them.
I've never seen what he looks like, but he's always just been such a delightful person to talk to, and whether it's messages or whatever. And I just really think the world of him. He's such a super person.
We've got about a minute to go here. Big thank you to all of our super chatters tonight. What a great night. Kira, T-Bone with a hat trick, Kitty times 4, Mike Rivers, Walter Kochabinski, and Glenn John McEnroe. We really appreciate your love and support tonight. Thank you very, very much. And of course, you can support my new project, haunted108.com. Haunted108.com. If you are looking for a vacation getaway that's paranormal, I got you covered. Go to haunted108.com. I would appreciate it. And We're going to get going in 20 seconds. Shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out because you'll look good. I promise you, you will look good. It's guaranteed if you wear our stuff. That's for sure. Here we go. All right, we're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Let's get right to Robin Haynes and the Q&A that we do each and every week on this show. And Robin, we have a couple of questions for you here tonight. We are going to start off with T-Bone here, who is asking, Robin, do they, the cryptids, sense time? Oh, let me get you unmuted here, Robin. Hold on. There you go.
Time doesn't really exist in their world, but they do have a sense of it, whether it's be, a day as a sun and a moon, and because they are around us enough. But time really doesn't exist for them. We invented time. They did not. When there's mind speak, there is no space and time in it. It's just collected through the consciousness. So there is no time lapse on that. When you're doing remote work, it's the same way. But they view time much, much different than we do. They don't have anything to do with it. We created that.
Matthew is wondering, where can I learn about frequencies and energies?
If you want to sign up for classes, you can go to my website, which is www.paranormal-empowerment.com, or look me up on Facebook, and I'm under Robin Haynes, no middle initial, Haynes. What I normally do with everybody is to even see if that is something that you want. I do like a free consultation, and we talk about it. If not, you are welcome to find anybody else that works with frequency and energy. That's not a problem. But I do recommend people that feel that unsettled feeling or that round peg in the square hole or like they aren't their genuine selves, find somebody that can help you. It doesn't have to be me. It does not. It just has to be somebody that you feel comfortable with. But it's a wonderful journey. It's very spiritual. We have so much fun, and you can do so many things. And as you learn the frequencies, whether it's from myself or somebody else, I don't know who else teaches any of the classes, but you learn so much about yourself, and you find a much better version of yourself in it. Now, when I do classes, they're one-on-one. It's done over the phone. And if you have other friends that want to be part of it, I don't care. That's perfectly fine. You can record the session so you've got it with you or however you want to do it. But if you do feel like this is something that you're called to do, like something is missing, again, doesn't have to be me. This is not about me. It's not about my business. It's about you. Find somebody that does this kind of work and has a good reputation in it and that you're comfortable with. Okay? So that's the most important thing. It's not about the business or anything else. But I know there's other people out there that do it. I don't personally know who does. And everything I know, I'd never learned it in books from people or anything like that. I learned it from the Sasquatch, the Dogman, aliens, Earthkeeper, all paranormal beings. So that's where I got my education from in it.
Fantastic.
We have
Fantastic.
so much fun. Oh, we have a blast.
Do all cryptid creatures operate on the same frequency?
I think there's a difference in frequencies, but they're all high enough where they all kind of mesh together and they work under that collective. It's over a certain part. Now, like I've talked to certain Sasquatch that tell me they're in the 19th dimension. As humans, we're struggling to get into 4 and 5. So some are at a much lower. I've talked to some that are 13, some are 19. The thing of it is that they have reached a high enough level in the frequency and through the consciousness that they are capable of all these abilities.
So a dogman could pick up a signal that a Sasquatch could have, or that a gnome could have, that a gargoyle could have.
Absolutely. And they do. They absolutely do. Yeah, and the thing of it is, once you're in a high enough frequency, you can do basic healing. Like I do healing work on all the cryptids and the aliens, dimensionals, elementals, all those things. But you have to have a high enough frequency to do it. If you're in a low frequency, it does not work. And these are high frequency beings. So my frequency will, while it's definitely not as high as theirs, but it meshes high enough where I can do healing on them. Where if I work on people that are in the third dimension and their frequency isn't high enough, it will not accept the healing. Now, I do have some humans that I've done healing on. I typically don't, because I am not a doctor. I would never profess to be one. But I do have people that I have worked on successfully and done healing on from that. But they are also very high frequency people that are very much involved in the paranormal and are in a higher frequency. But anybody can do it, you guys. If I can do it, a trained chimp can do it. You just have to know how to get locked into those frequencies, learn the mechanics on how this stuff works, and you will be fine.
I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if they're all working on one frequency, are they all in communication with each other? Like, for instance, does Dogman talk to the gnomes? Does Dogman talk to Bigfoot? Do they talk to the skinwalkers and Wendigo? I mean, are they all tied together that way?
They are all capable of it. They're linked through the collective. If they choose to talk to each other, they can. They also know how to raise their frequency in a way to block each other. When they are not blocking, it's like everybody is listening to everything. But they have to want to listen to whatever their target is. Like, I was talking to them earlier today. What I did was I manifest in my mind which one I want to talk to. My intent through my heart and my consciousness directs it. And I simply, in my mind, call out to them, and then I get a response. But it's also very easy for anything, good or bad, that wants to talk to you to listen into your conversations, get into your mind. You don't even have to be talking out loud. Okay? So what I do with all of my people, safety is first. I want everybody to be safe all the time. I'm like safety police mom. And so one of the things I do insist is that I teach people how to read energies so they can distinguish who and what they're talking to and if it's good or bad. So they learn how to interpret who and what they're talking to. Everybody's frequency is different. It's like a thumbprint. Nobody else will have the same frequency that you have. It's a way of identifying yourself. So I'm very, very careful with that. I don't want anybody getting hurt. And not only that, I teach your body is a human lie detector by reading energies. So I teach everybody how to do the human lie detector. And then I do that the first session. And then I'm like, use it on me all the time. Use it on everybody in your life all the time. I know I'm not lying. When I go to bed and I put my head down, God knows I've never lied about any of this. So I'm good with it. You can test me anytime you want. But they can also use it in their life with anybody or anything because your body reads energy. There's a disconnect and a lag time from the time your body reads the energy until it filters in that third dimensional brain. Once it gets in that third dimensional brain, if it's something that is out of the paradigm of what it can cope with, it will shut it down and tell you it's not true. This is why we have a lot of people that have a hard time believing in some of these things, because that third dimensional brain is not going to allow them to believe it, and they're not at a high enough frequency. When you go into that higher frequency, you start going into the fourth dimension and eventually the fifth. It opens a wide avenue of understanding for you. Now, I tell everybody, do not believe every single solitary thing that's told to you. We have a lot of hoaxers in this field of research. That's why I teach everybody how to read for the truth and a lie. Because energetically, energy and frequency never lies. It cannot be faked. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, if you're an actor, doesn't matter. Can't be faked. It's the only true thing out there is the energies and the frequencies. So I teach people how to do the lie detector test so that they know. You could be talking to a Sasquatch that you think his name is Billy Bob, and you've been talking to Billy Bob for 3 months. And then all of a sudden he comes in and says, hey, it's me, it's Billy Bob. If you don't know how to read his energy and know that that's him, it could be the devil incarnate coming to talk to you. Safety is paramount. when we do these things, we do it in the safest manner possible. Nothing is 100% guaranteed, but we're darn well going to make sure we're as safe as we can be. And reading those frequencies has to come first.
How does that improve communication with humans?
It raises your intuitiveness, okay? And even a person that's in that third dimension, when you read their energy signature, even though they're so low, it's going to tell you a lot about them. So when you have a higher frequency, you're more intuitive. Your empath abilities are kicked into high gear. Your intuitive abilities are kicked into high gear. You're going to be able to read them better. You're going to be able to understand them at a different level that you couldn't before. Okay? Also, with the high frequency, all your emotions are heightened. You love deeper. You get happier. You also get angrier at a higher level. You can hate deeper. Every emotion that you have is heightened because it's a higher frequency. This is why our cryptids, when they get mad, they're mad at a level that we can't even comprehend. But at the same time, for the people that have been around them, when they push love on you, which is a lot, it is the most purest form of love and the deepest love you will ever experience. It bypasses much deeper than what our humans get. And most people, the first time they get what I call the love bubble pushed onto them, it'll bring you to tears. But in a higher frequency, you also have a better understanding. You know, you may have a better understanding of your partner. You may have a better understanding of the people that are in your family or your circle of friends. You may also have a better understanding if you go to work and there's that one joker at work that is always obnoxious. And then there are ways to deal with that, where you can protect yourself from that negative energy coming onto you. It opens up your mind and your heart to a deeper understanding of everything going on around you. You also will find that people that are in your circle and have always been there, once your frequency is higher, it gives you clarity and it gives you that understanding and calmness. So now you're in that higher frequency, and you may realize that some of these people that are in your circle are not exactly what you thought they were, because you see them as their real self. Does not mean that they're bad, does not mean you have to kick them to the curb. It means you have to maybe reevaluate how close you let certain people in your life. Because as your frequency goes up, there may not. Things that served you before in that third dimension in a higher frequency may not serve you as well. And you may notice things about them. Does not mean they're a bad person. It just means that you see them a little bit differently.
When we are, as humans, are out in the forest, obviously for the most part we've forgotten our tribal natural ways of thinking, of senses, of
Mhm.
of eyesight, of hearing,
Yeah.
anything that kind of goes along with safety of the forest, and we
Mhm.
don't really look into that. How does the cryptids take advantage of our ignorance in nature like that?
Well, to begin with, because they're a higher frequency, they're feeling frequency. They're not using a third dimensional brain, because their brain is not third dimensional, but they're going through the higher frequency, so they're feeling it. One of the things we learn with frequency is quit thinking with the third dimensional brain, feel the energy, all your answers are there. So when we go into the woods and we're working with the third dimensional brain, we miss 90% about what's going on. So they actually are in complete control of everything, because you learn how to work the energies, how to move the energies, how to create various things. This is how they cloak. This is how they project emotion and feelings on us. Like people talk about the wall of fear. That's a projection of fear that they're putting on you. They're not doing anything to you. It's a projection that they do through a higher frequency. So they have complete control out there, unless you know how to handle yourself. Now that doesn't, they're always going to have more control because they are the highest frequencies. We can't get that high, but we can at least understand what's going on around us. You quit thinking with the third dimensional brain and you feel. When you feel, you'll get the entire stories of what's going on out there. You'll be able to connect with them, to the trees, to the plants, to the rocks, everything. So for them, they're already in that higher frequency. They can manipulate and alter what you think is going on. They can project emotions, feelings, smells. They can make you think you're smelling something that you're not. They can raise their frequency so that they can cloak and they come right up beside you and you don't even know they're there. But if you are in a higher frequency and they cloak and come right up to you, you're going to know they're there because you're going to feel their energy. And once you get to a high enough frequency, you're not only going to feel their energy, then in your head, you are going to get an image of them, what they look like, what sex they are, what color they are, what kind of hair do they have, all of these things. And it all comes through the energies and frequencies. It's like I can go out in the woods, and this has been proven time and time again with other people with me. And if they're out there, they don't have to be in physical form. I can find them anytime. And then we will go, I'll say, okay, they're over there. We'll go over and do something. And all of a sudden they'll take off and you'll hear them running or you'll hear them grunt or whatever. And again, a lot of my kids know how to do this. My daughter the other day was walking with my granddaughter, walking down the road, and she heard something come running through the woods towards the road. She couldn't see anything. She heard it huffing. They got all the way to the road where she was at. And I live in back roads. Like I'm out in the middle of a forest. And so she picked up her daughter because she wasn't sure which one it was. And of course, as soon as it saw her, it stopped and it looked at her and it turned around and it left. It was cloaked the whole time and she heard every single move it made.
As we got about 5 minutes to go here before we have to say goodnight, the idea that these cryptids can kind of sense us, and especially in their own environment, how dangerous does that make it for people who are ignorant to the idea that they may be in cryptid territory in the forest?
Extremely. They have the upper hand. Okay. Even with all the energy and the frequency work that we can do, they will always have the upper hand. They truly will. And like when it comes to being out in the woods and the state parks and the missing 411s, the Sasquatch and Dogman are the least of your problems. You have open portals out there. You have different aliens out there. And not all aliens are bad, by the way. So don't anybody ever think that they're all bad. We've got some really incredible ones that are on our planet right now that we should be very thankful for. But they are in control out there. And if you are a person that does not know how to read the energies and you can't see them when they're cloaked and you don't get those images, you don't know what's going on. And they are stronger than us and they are more powerful than us. They can zap. Of course, we can, but not nearly at the level they can. But so they have all these things against. I mean, they got quite a leg up on us. They really do. But if you have a higher frequency and you are a person that has love in your heart, most of the good ones you're not going to have a problem with. The bad ones don't like people that are pure of heart because they're bad. That's why they're bad. We don't like them. So it makes them uncomfortable. High frequency around low frequency makes low frequency beings extremely miserable and uncomfortable, and they do not like it. So yeah, when they're out in the woods, it is strictly their world and we're visitors. I think we are safer than we realize. Most of them are good. But for anybody to go out into the woods and think that no matter what, I'm safe, I've got a gun, I've got this, you are fooling yourself. I have been around hunters that have been out in the woods and the Sasquatch have malfunctioned their firearms, which immediately start working again once the Sasquatch is gone. I know people that have been outside and shooting at something, trying to bother their cattle or whatever. And if a Sasquatch was around, they messed with the guns. So they really are so much more superior to us in the woods. There's a false sense of security that people have when taking a gun. And I understand it's for protection. I'm not saying that nobody's ever shot one. But if they're using paranormal abilities, you're not going to get very far.
No, I can totally see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
As somebody who does carry pointy sticks in the forest, but at no time have I ever carried them for the sake of the cryptids that are around there. It's more so the other animals that are there. I mean,
yeah. And you can explain that to them. And you and I, Dave, have talked about this multiple times, and you do this. And I have other people that go out, and you're in areas that there's bear, there's cougar, there's moose. There's all these things that can really end your life. Go out there with an open heart and a pure heart. Tell them, I'm here with peace. Be honest with them up front, because they can sense it on you anyway. If they think you're hiding something from them or lying to them, you're already on the top of their list. And just say, I have this with me. It's not for you. It's to protect me from other animals, not you, but from the animals that want to hurt me. I come with a pure heart. If that is a true statement and you're coming there with a pure heart and it's not to use it on them, they read the intent because they read your frequency. Frequency does not lie. If you go out there and you're intending to bag a Bigfoot and you try to tell them that that's not what you're doing with that weapon, you are done for. They will either leave and go and not be anywhere near you, or they are going to run your butt out of there, because they read intent and they read your heart. And your frequency cannot be faked. Frequency and energy never lies, and you cannot change it to make yourself look better.
We have 30 seconds left, Robin. Big thank you for you coming on the show once again.
Oh, thank you. I love it here.
As we will see you next week. But if you could do me a favor, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook under Robin Haynes, Haynes, no middle initial. Or if you're interested in any of the services, you can get hold of me on www.paranormal-empowerment.com. Also, if you just have a question and you're not looking for services, you can still get hold of me on my website. Not a problem. I answer everybody.
I love it. I know you do. You always have the best, and you're so easy to chat with, and you always make it so much fun.
Thanks. We do. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. We get work done, but we laugh a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely you do. And that's what makes it just the best. As we say goodnight to Robin Haynes, and hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job, Robin. Good job. Let me get you off mute here, hon.
I said, thank you. I appreciate it. My favorite topic. We do. We have so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we do.
We do. I love everybody that comes on the show. Like, they're just so much fun. You know, it's an interactive audience, and for the most part, everybody is just as sweet as can be. And they get hold of me off the show, and I just love it.
I love it too. And I know you greatly appreciate that.
I do. I really do. And I'm always like, when people do get hold of me, it always humbles me. You know, that anybody would even want to hear what I have to say or whatever. It means a lot to me.
I think you're great.
Well, I adore you. And I will see you next week, my friend.
Yeah, I think you will.
Okay, you take care, sweetheart.
You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. All right. Good. Tomorrow night on the show, Science Bob will be here to hang on out with us. I got to prep for my day tomorrow because I got a busy day working in the studio. I do. So I'm going to say goodnight to all of you tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our super chatters. We got T-Bone with 3. Jeff Steve Garvey, he'll hit a home run for you. Kira Kitty with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mike Walter and Glenn John McEnroe, thank you. Science Bob tomorrow night on the show, everybody. We are going to have some fun talking UFOs with him, and I hope you will rejoin us. Do me a favor. Take the time to share this show. Give us a like, and after the show, let me know what you think of these UFO detectors. I always want to hear your comments, so I'm leaving it up to you. I'm curious what you think. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.